What's up, horror fams? JT from the Horror Chronicles. We got something really cool going on tonight. We are joined online by two directors and two of the main stars of this movie called Hosts, which comes out on video on demand October 2nd. Please welcome Richard Oakes, Adam Leader, Neal Ward, and Samantha Loxley. How you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you. How are you?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Are you guys excited about the release?
Yeah, nervous.
You shouldn't be nervous. Shouldn't be nervous. I've watched this movie twice, and it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Twice, huh?
But I'm going to read through a little synopsis of the film. I love the story behind it. And here we go. So, on Christmas Eve, an innocent couple become hosts to a malicious entity. Throughout the night, they terrorize a family of 5 in unimaginably violent and disturbing ways. These demonic possessions mark the beginning of a worldwide supernatural takeover, and the family of 5 who fall victim to the first attack are the unfortunate ones to experience the start of this horrific epidemic. A dark and bloody insight on how lying to your loved ones can not only alienate them, but it can completely destroy the bonds you have them forever. You guys can't beat that. That is just a great synopsis for a film.
I mean, it's pretty ominous, isn't it?
It is very ominous, very ominous.
We really, really wanted to focus on writing a family-friendly, kid film,
Yeah, sorry, this is Adam. Yeah. Adam's the one that wrote the whole thing originally, and then obviously it's really, really tame.
Yeah,
suitable for everybody.
We did approach the Disney Channel with it, but that's not even a lie, is it?
It wasn't Cinderella.
No, we did. We approached. Oh God, I can't remember, but Richard's right.
Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't Cinderella enough for him.
I mean, nobody lost a shoe in the film, that's for sure. Everybody kept their shoes firmly on their feet, and that is something that we can take to many graves.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So, Adam, what was the writing process like? I mean, where did you get your inspiration for this? I mean, I kind of know, but
sure.
Know.
Well, Rich and I had been working together for a while before that, and I guess after working for other people for so long, which we loved doing anyway, and we still do it to this day, but we kind of thought, why are we making other people's movies, and why are we not making our own? So we were kind of in this mindset of gearing up and getting ready, and then I think it was 2016, 2017, we wrote the screenplay together alongside Nadia Lamine from Hosts. She plays Lauren, the screenplay to our first film, Dirge. But we had to kind of put that on the back burner because it's something that requires, I guess, a fairly large budget. So it got to a point where we're like, let's write a lower budget film and let's do it all ourselves and let's prove ourselves. So it got to just this point where we were both just ready to do it. And then I kind of had this experience that kind of stemmed a whole bunch of ideas with me and Rich. An experience that similar to what you see in the film. I was sitting with my ex and she saw something at the window, like a blue orb, and she tells me about it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I just saw something in the corner of the window and it scared me. So I went outside to check it out, and I took a knife with me because I was quite scared, and there was nothing in the garden. So, I came back in, and then I got on the phone to Rich and said, dude, like, this would be a really cool idea for like a movie opener or a scene in a film, and we spent the whole night on on Facebook chat or Face Chat or whatever, just storyboarding this all these ideas and scene ideas into a film. And the next day I went away and wrote the screenplay, and I guess the rest kind of followed on from that. And
the rest is magic, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So you said you and Richard had worked together before. Have you guys done some other movies? I know he was into cinematography.
So I've done a few films as a cinematographer. I've run my own music video production company since 2012.
Okay.
And was it 2015 it was, wasn't it? I did, because Adam's in an awesome metal band. And I did their music video. I got hired to film their music video. And at first I was like, oh, this guy's a bit of a douche. He's not talking to me. He seems a bit scary. And by the end of the music video, we started talking. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Did their music video, rushed it out. It wasn't worth the money they paid. And then...
Welcome to the music biz, man.
And then I started making a short film and writing a short film because I was like, I want to do something for myself. I'm creative. So I started writing this sci-fi, futuristic, dystopian, terrible short film. And I put a thing out on Facebook because I didn't know any actors. I did music videos, and musicians make the worst actors. So I put a post out on Facebook. Love the look
you're getting from Neal right now.
He didn't know me then.
So I put a post out on Facebook to all the musicians that I work with and stuff. Like, does anyone fancy acting in my film? Because I don't know any actors. And then Adam's like, boom, in my thing. And it was like, can I be it? And I was like, well, actually, I'm looking for a bad guy. This guy's bald and kind of scary looking. He scared me when I met him. And he's got a gruff beard and stuff. I was like, yeah, this would be cool. And then
he looks like a scary guy.
Yeah. So he came over, and I was like, let's do a screen test. Let's do some lines. And he came over, and I was like, this guy's actually pretty good for a musician, for sure. Like, and I had some other musicians audition. So all the actors in that film are musicians. It's just funny. Nice. But then the day we went to shoot, like, me and Adam just drove down in the car together, and everyone else went there in their own vehicles, and it was in Wales, and so it was quite like a 6-hour drive. And just in that journey, we just hit it off so well, and we've just been best friends ever since, and wanted to continue that creativity, and just love him, innit?
I love him too,
man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's pretty cool to be able to do a project with this with one of your best friends. I mean, it's got to be a cool feeling.
The best thing about it is that we're all best friends now, and that's like,
nice.
It's just awesome. It's awesome.
Family, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I was going to ask you guys about. Like, how was the crew together? I mean, as a whole, did everybody get along?
Awful, terrible. We were terrible, weren't we?
I miss being on set. I mean, it's been a year, but I mean, I turned up. I didn't know anyone. The only person that I knew, apart from, actually no, I only knew Neal before turning up to set. And I was kind of a bit of a last minute casting due to a couple of other things. So I didn't know anybody. And by the end of, so the majority of the film was shot over 2 weeks. By the end of those 2 weeks, it felt really, really strange to go back to London and firstly sleep.
We didn't get much of that, did we?
Yeah, but secondly, just sort of not be around everyone. And I think, every time you're on a shoot, you always try and get on with people, and you're not trying to network, but you're always trying to be nice to people. I think anyone in this industry is always, trying to get on with everyone. But this shoot, above anything else, has gone far beyond anything, and everyone is still in touch. Like, even day to day, there's a silly thread on Facebook and every now and then someone will send a stupid picture, and we'll all wish each other birthday and stuff. And I haven't had that from another shoot. Obviously, other shoots have been, you make friends and stuff, but this one, everyone is together, and
It's just really nice.
It's like a big family.
And it's so real. There's nothing fake about it.
Yeah.
You know,
We still keep in contact with the caterer. Like he's still actively involved in like.
So every person, every crew member, every runner, the caterers, we're all in a Facebook group, and it literally every day we have a chat on there, or have a joke, or share news about the film, and everyone's just like supportive, and we're just a big family.
And caterer has his own pie business. We all
host pies.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, because you don't hear about that from a lot of movie sets and stuff. You know, most people, once they're done, they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
You know, I'm too good for you. You're too good for me. Blah blah blah.
I think higher up the food chain you go, the more problems are caused because everyone is under so much pressure with money and budgets and algorithms and everything. When you're making it in such a sort of small environment as we did, everyone is so close, and it means something. It's not just a job. We're not getting paid the world to do these roles, but I'd rather get paid not much money and work with people that actually care about what they're doing than people that are just like, it's just another job.
That's
just
awesome.
Like, just someone that just demands a paycheck. It's like, nah, we made this with love, and it came from love, and it came from, like you say, with the guys, with their friendship, and then that friendship sort of spreads as to a sort of crew level and the host's family level. So
totally. And I think on our set as well, lots of other sets are like this, but not quite the same way that we had it. I've shot 3 feature films before for other directors and stuff, but and that was great. Loved doing them, but there's an element of just camaraderie that we had on hosts, and it's just constant jokes, constant kind of pranks, and constant just messing around. Cool. But obviously everyone, when it came time to worked hard, and there was no kind of bunking off or any of that kind of stuff. We all were serious about what we were shooting and stuff. But around that, as soon as we called cut, we were just laughing at stuff. And, you know, it was just brilliant. Really chilled atmosphere, I think.
Considering the tone of the film.
As soon as
it's a little brutal.
We're all funny.
Pretty much.
But they were the funniest bits.
Oh, yeah. So, just kind of curious, so I've watched the movie twice now. Where did you guys actually film this? Is that a bad question?
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Really?
In my house.
You're kidding me.
No, it's my house.
Nice.
Well, we redecorated the whole place for the film, which the wife loves, by the way.
Well, the original thing, like Richard thought, like I could either spend like £1 million of the budget on a set or just buy himself a house. So.
Yeah.
Two birds with one stone, and then
at least when you're done, you can keep the house.
Exactly. Tax write-off.
Not quite.
There was just this moment halfway through, like we came back to set, and we were filming at night, so it was about 5 in the afternoon. We came back to set. And Rich came outside, and I was like, "You're right, Rich." And he's like, "Yeah, I just have to live here."
My wife came home, and it was just carnage. I mean, you've seen the amount of blood in this film, and it doesn't really give across how much there was. I mean, if you take off the sheet on my bed, the mattress is still blood red. Like there's blood hidden in every corner and orifice of this house. I'm
going to say that sounds horrible, Rich.
It's great fun. It's a constant reminder, especially if this film does terrible and I just want to forget it. It's not going to happen.
Well, you can't forget it now. You're stuck in the house.
I just remember you, like, at one point, you thought we'd all cleaned out the living room, which is where the big dinner scene happens, and then someone looks at the ceiling and goes, "Oh wait, there's a bit of Cassie there." Darling.
There's bits and bobs all over the house that we're still discovering.
Yeah,
I love going there. I mean, I go there every week or every other week and see Rich, and we're working on something else, whether it's host related or whatever. And there's always a bit of blood like behind a curtain somewhere.
Nice.
It feels like home going back. See you tomorrow, Rich. You know.
Yeah.
You ever sit there and watch the movie and look around and think, God, this was really fucking with me?
It did for a little while. Because I edited it, so I was just like, editing all day, and my head is in the computer in that
right.
house. And
then
I'd
you
go and make
around.
a cup of tea and go,
I bet.
But the corridor wallpaper had to come down. My wife was like, I don't mind the wallpaper in the lounge. I'll allow that. But so that's still up. But the corridor, she was like, it's got to go, man.
It's the condition of sale with the house next time if you ever have to move is that needs to be kept because it's the house from hosts. It needs to stay, man. It's a nice
into a museum. How funny.
Well,
there you go.
I don't know if you have this over there, but in London or like around the UK, if there's a site of where someone has been born, like someone famous, say like Winston Churchill or something, you get this little blue plaque. It's like a circle, and it has like the date of birth and their date of death as well, because they're normally dead by the time they get a plaque. So I'm just wondering if one day, Rich, your house will have a little blue plaque on the outside.
You'll have a host sign on the outside of the house.
Yeah.
It depends how well the reviews goes to how soon that plaque will go up.
I devalue the house.
There is actually one for Captain Kirk, from Star Trek, and it's like a futuristic one, and it's like 2156, and it's in like Piccadilly Circus somewhere. So I'm like,
nice.
Okay, that was totally irrelevant. I just
we'll see.
No, hey, it's all good. It's all good. I like some Captain Kirk. My favorite villains was based off of a Captain Kirk mask.
Oh wow! Well, apparently he likes Piccadilly Circus, so there we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a good question for you guys. So apparently you're into horror. What's your favorite horror movie?
Mine would have my favorite horror movie.
Please say host. Please say host.
How arrogant would I sound?
But yeah, hosts.
Yeah, but it'd be awesome.
but yeah, hosts. No, so my favorite horror movie of all time would have to be The Exorcist.
Definitely.
I got loads, man, but the first horror movie I ever saw that turned me on to horror was the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
1984.
1984, man. It was 4 years. It came out 4 years before I was born. But,
wow.
Yeah, but I remember watching it when I was like 8 years old. Because me and my sister found it in the cabinet of VHS tapes and stuff, and it just something about the name of the film that just intrigued us. So we put it on and got terrified, but loved it at the same time. And that was it after that.
It's a very terrifying movie, especially for a child.
Yeah.
Especially.
And it's the sort of thing, you don't see films like that anymore because it's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Like
the first one's very dark. Then the more they go on, the more ridiculous they get.
They get
but I
they
think
get a lot more campy.
80s horrors kind of did that well.
80s in general did everything well, man.
So
like,
good.
music.
I've just got the 80s remake of The Blob for my kids to watch because my kid is a real horror buff.
That is awesome.
Me.
It's amazing, and that was one of the first horrors I saw, probably the second horror I saw, and I love it. Absolutely. Even today, I put it on. I was like, "Is this going to be so bad now?" And there's campy parts, but it's amazing. And then the second copy of it came through because I ordered it on eBay for my kid, and then it just didn't come, and I cancelled it on eBay and bought it off Amazon, and then one arrived, and then the other one arrived today, and I'm like. Okay, Neal, do you want the
Blob? It's funny. Our episode that just dropped this morning was all about must-watch Halloween movies, and that movie actually came up.
Along with Host,
with Host,
with Host,
we did talk about you guys just a little bit. We know
that's all you need, just a mention.
So we've been trying not to spoil stuff for people before the movie comes out because we're really big about. We get into the dirt of a movie. That's just what we do. I mean, we love it. We get it with Ryan and I both. We're really big into the cinematography and the atmosphere of a movie, and we just get into all those little aspects. And with your guys' movie, there's a lot of that in there. Lot
well,
of
that's down to Rich because he's an absolute legend of a DOP.
Look at that! I think his head just swelled up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it can't go any more. Lockdown swelled it so much. I need to not.
Hell yeah!
Need to get on the bike.
So Neal, I gotta ask, what's up with the mosh hat?
It's actually the mosh hat. Believe it or not, I used to be massively into metal and hardcore when I was younger.
Yeah.
My dad was a drummer in, they were billed as the UK's #1 Deep Purple tribute band.
Okay.
When I was like 15, 14, and I used to breakdance, believe it or not, at a professional-ish level. And I always had to hide from my friends that I was into sort of rock and heavy metal and stuff. But one of my favorite bands is a band called Bury Your Dead, and it's basically their merch. And I have a vest that basically says I used to mosh on the back. And nice. I'm yet to get an In Search of Sun t-shirt, which is Adam's band. I'll replace that with that in due course because they are now. Still haven't got one, man. It's like you can't meet your idols, and I've worked with one, so it's kind of like, I've got the merch, but you never wear like the merch of the band that you're going to see. Do you know what I mean? You don't do
right. I do it all the time. I'm a huge metalhead.
So. Yeah, I mean, do you know Bury Your Dead?
Yeah, I have heard of them.
Man.
I don't know them too well, but I have heard of them.
Just good old school hardcore, man. Yeah.
I'm old. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm freaking old. I grew up on 80s thrash metal, so I'm really big into Slayer and Megadeth and Anthrax.
So your ears are ripped to shit, right?
Huh? Yeah, I can't hear a damn thing.
But yeah, man, that's where the
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys are into the metal.
We're all kind of metal.
Adam, I know you are because I've listened to a little bit of your band stuff.
Oh, cool.
What was the name of the band again?
In Search of Sun.
In Search of Sun. Yeah. I didn't realize that you were the front man of a metal band until I was reading through some of your stuff. I looked you guys up and looked through some of your stuff, and I ran across that, and I immediately went and started digging, and I was like, oh, okay, right on. And I know you've got 2 songs in the ending credits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we do have 2. I keep forgetting about.
Rhythm.
Yeah, we do. And actually, well, I guess this would be a perfect time to plug it. We've got the music video for the end credits song coming out. Well, I don't know when this is coming out, but next Friday the 9th of October, the music video drops, and you can stream it everywhere on Spotify and watch it on YouTube. And
awesome. Yeah, this episode is actually going to go out on the 8th, so we're going to give people a little bit of time to see the movie before we spoil it for them.
So we're going to go pure spoilers today, are we?
Spoiler.
Yeah. Because I kind of want to pick your guys' brain on some of these scenes. I'm all about the scenes, and there's some stuff in there that it's like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that,
Because as much as
in a good way,
as much as we don't want to spoil the film at all, because I do think it's important to watch this film dry.
Yeah, definitely.
I've just been gagging to talk about some of the stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Well, hell, let's get into it then. Let's just get into some stuff here. So, first off, you guys start this film with what is possibly the sweetest couple with Sam and Neal. I mean, you guys, we get to see this loving couple interacting. I didn't know when going into this movie that it was actually a Christmas movie. But
was it the Santa that gave it away?
it really was, and I got to tell you, when I first saw that, it really screwed me up because I was like, what the hell? What? Yeah, I looked at Ryan, I'm like, where the hell did Santa come from?
That's what Frank does in his spare time, is he does it in shopping centres.
That's how he turned up on set. We had to go with it. He forgot his costume.
So you guys start out with the sweet and loving couple. You're exchanging some gifts and stuff, and then having a good conversation and building that ever so important character. It is so important in a film to build characters like that. And there's so many films that get that wrong, and you guys freaking nailed it. You really did. I mean, by the time you get to the point where we're going to talk about the dining room here in a little bit, but by the time you get to that point,
I don't think we need to talk about that scene.
We're going to talk about
that. I don't think I was there.
And then you guys have got a weird fascination with teeth too, and I really want to know.
Yeah, you don't know the half of it.
There's a cool story behind that one, man. There's a very cool story behind that.
But so when you guys film this, of course. We're not going to go blow by blow here, but of course, Sam sees the light outside the window. Now, Richard, was that actually your garden outside your window?
That wasn't my house.
Okay, that was
the composer's house.
That was the composer's house.
Nice. God, you guys got everybody involved in this.
And then the garden was the producer's garden, so they're not actually the same place. So,
I mean, you guys played it off pretty cool. I mean, it seemed to flow pretty good.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with that because I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but yeah, it worked.
So, you see the blue light, and Adam had touched on that earlier, that it was an experience that he had had. And then you send Neal out there to trudge through the garden with
he had a knife.
I'm sorry, guys. We call them a flashlight. You guys call them a torch? Is that?
Torch, flashlight. As long as it's
flashlight. All right, right on. See, I'm trying to learn here. But you send poor Neal out there all by himself, and I love whenever he gets into like the greenhouse area, and all of a sudden I got something weird on my screen here.
No, he's telling us
it's
upgraded because of
time.
COVID. We can have longer. You can.
Yeah, nice. So he gets into the greenhouse area, and then you see something dart past in the background.
You're the first
I
person
can't
to
tell
notice
you
that.
how many times I tried to slow the movie down. I'm like, what the hell did I just see?
I can't tell him what it is.
Now that Rich just said you're the first person to notice that, and you are. Now that you've said it, we could probably tell you what it is.
As a reward, as a bonus.
Do you think that's kind of too early now to explain that, or will it ruin it? I guess.
Well,
maybe
I don't know.
Something to be cut out. I don't know.
It's a funny story of what that actually is, like in filming terms.
Okay.
Can you have a guess?
I mean, if we need to edit it out, I'm sure I can cut it out.
Or was it?
But that's awesome. Yeah. Well,
I'll send you the B roll. Don't worry.
No.
Slow down, slow motion.
I think I'm good.
And then we got the sound guy naked in the house, and that shot
never got used.
The deleted shot that never made the cut of the film. Forgot about that. Yeah.
Aww.
What did you ask him to do, Adam? And he was like, what? So he's standing there naked in the corner at this point.
So I asked. So Wayne Ray, his name is, the guy that did the sound on the film. I asked him to get naked or topless, and I don't know whether he did it or not, but in his underwear, in his briefs, and stand in the corner of the room as Neal comes back in from checking out the garden after they see the lights, and the camera just sort of pans past the room, like following Neal, and as it does that, it just reveals Wayne naked in the corner, like striking a pose as if he's cradling a baby. And then there was another pose we got him to do where he's just got his arm like straight up in the air, like pointing at the ceiling. Right. And you could see his face, like it was he felt so awkward.
He loves it though.
Oh, he loves it. Bless him.
It was great. But yeah, it never made the final cut.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like a blast, though.
Oh, Wayne is.
Can you stand in the corner naked and cradle an imaginary baby, please?
I've not had anybody say that to me, but I don't know. I might do it. Hey.
How many members of the cast did we convince to get naked in this film?
All of them.
All the crew, I mean. Because Shawnee did it later on as well.
Yes, he did. So I think it was 3. It was 3, wasn't it? And it was a small crew, so almost all of them.
That's a good percentage. Yeah, it's a good return.
That's 80% of the crew.
Yeah.
You guys should have put that in the contract. At some point, you're going to have to get naked.
You're going to get naked.
It's in there, just really small.
It's just see-through. It's like, these will be your clothes. Okay.
Yeah. It's in that ink that disappears when sunlight touches it.
Well, we were halfway through Weinstein's autobiography and we're like, this is good stuff, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like...
Oh, my God.
Yes, Rich!
Don't edit that out.
That's damn good there, sir. I think we all deserve a drink after that. Cheers.
Yeah, that's woo.
Hell yeah. So, I don't want to get too into nitty gritty because, like I said, I don't want to spoil this movie for a lot of people. But there are certain scenes that, really stuck out to me. Of course, one of the next things you see is the mom in the kitchen cooking dinner, and the father and the son sitting on the couch, talking back and forth. And what was interesting to me about that was the newscast. When the lady on the news starts talking about some electrical anomaly or something, then it really starts making you think, okay, what is going on here? Because at this point, as a viewer, you really don't know what's going on. You're being led down a darkened path, and you're just trying to figure it out. And now you've got this newscaster talking about, some electrical anomaly or whatever, which was pretty cool, And then you've got Lauren in the bedroom with Ben. And they're talking back and forth. And I just got to bring this up. Lauren gets a call from her boyfriend, and that's you on the phone.
Yeah. Like Neal mentioned a minute ago, we had a small crew,
small cast,
and a small cast.
I think you've missed another thing about
the same person,
which is very throwaway.
Do what?
Adam's in the film as another person, and there's an advert after the news where Adam is advertising handbags.
You're kidding me.
Trollop.
It's a trailer from our YouTube channel, which we run a comedy YouTube channel, and it's a trailer about a handbag with an extraordinarily long handle called Trollop.
Tropical.
and that advert is on the TV after the news. So
marketed by a very, very, very camp model, and I tread lightly when I say model.
He's incredibly handsome.
Called Graham.
Dare to handsome.
Hell yeah.
And if you watch the channel, you'll see that Graham has a lovely boss called Hyman.
He didn't make the movie.
Richard Oakes.
He didn't make the movie because he looks like a bucket.
We'll send you these links, bro. You'll get these, and you can have some.
I can't believe the Trollop stayed in there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Farm needs to get in.
I always thought it was something.
I tell you, getting all this info, I'm gonna go back and watch the film again. And
we need to send you these links so you'll get it alongside you seeing the film.
We've got
so many Easter eggs.
Yeah, sorry.
Loads.
Yeah.
Nice. So so after the phone call with you, well, actually, while she's on the phone with you, is when she's standing by the window and she notices something duck into the bushes.
Wow.
Hey.
You're good.
See, I pay attention.
Brownie points
to these things. Because I'm always looking for the creep factor in a movie. And that really, to me, pushes up that creepiness.
Nice.
It's like, okay, who the hell is in the bush out there?
Yeah.
Do you know who? Did you manage to work out who it was after you watched the whole film?
No.
Okay, worth a third watch then.
Okay.
I think it's pretty hard to tell. I think it's pretty hard to tell.
It's great that you noticed that because, I'd seen it and I'd seen something move, but I watched it on a laptop the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Right.
And watching it on a screen, like a proper screen,
Right.
really makes so much difference. And it's nothing to do with brightness or anything. It's just because it's kind of subtle, and I think it's the kind of thing where if you're in a cinema and say if you go with a couple of friends, obviously not now because of social distancing, but say once upon a time when you went to the cinema with friends, like 2 or 3 of you might see it and 2 or 3 of you might not, and you'd be like, did you see that? They'd be like, what? And that kind of makes it even scarier, because it's like, you don't know what's going on. Oh, but I saw it. Oh, but I didn't. Hang on, did I see the wrong thing?
There are a lot of things that
like that
definitely need a second watch.
And that's what's cool about this film is there's a lot of creepiness in it, but it doesn't, like a lot of films, they just basically revolve around jump scares.
Yeah.
And you guys did not do that. You let the film tell its own story and be creepy on its own.
Yeah.
And it's very unnerving.
Go on.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say that, like, Rich and I are huge on not doing what every other film does. Like, we're not into jump scares at all. We're into building tension. And
you guys did a great job at it too.
Oh, thanks, man.
There's a technique that we kind of took on board, which is kind of the antithesis of a jump scare, and that's kind of what we wanted to do. And it's more, I guess, down the route Tarantino likes to do, which is to reveal the threat and then ignore it for a long time. Right. And then there's the payoff, and it's like the opposite of a jump scare, that you know what's coming for a long, long time, rather than just baff and jump. Because the problem with the jump scare is you get a quick reaction, and then it's like, then you're over it. But when you've got 10 minutes of dread, I think that's a lot more powerful.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's very Hitchcockian. Is the best way to put that. I mean, Hitchcock was a master at that. And you guys did a very good job in this film of building that tension and keeping people on the edge of their seat.
So
thank you.
Taking ecstasy rather than crack, really. Ecstasy lasts a lot longer throughout the whole night, but
but you get a bigger bang with the. Oh, never mind.
I think you see enough crack in that first scene with that.
If you pause it,
for sure. Actually, I didn't even know that was him. So there's no crack there.
There's no crack. See it now.
I mean, there's different kinds of Easter eggs, but those are some.
So one of the big things that came up when we were watching this film was after Neal or Jack and Sam, Lucy, get to the neighbor's house. When they open the door to let you guys in, there's like no dialogue whatsoever. It was funny because Ryan, my co-host, who's usually with me, he was like, "What the fuck? Haven't these people figured out there's something wrong with them?" I'm like, "Well, they just got there, and
the Hendersons in themselves are all sort of way too preoccupied with their own nonsense to even notice that there's two people with something different about them. But they're all their own demons and stuff that they're dealing with.
They do notice, and they do say, there's a line talking about it and saying, are they all right? They seem weird, and it's like, I mean, a little bit of a spoiler, but it's kind of revealed ever so slightly in dialogue that Jack lost his father, and we assume there's a problem why he can't see his mother, which is why they're going to their neighbor's house for Christmas, not to their own families. And so he's like, well, this is hard for them. Kind of, must be weird going to invade someone else's family, even though they've been invited for Christmas. That's got to be awkward for them. Do you know what I mean? Right. Even though they kind of have done it a couple of times. So it's a hard time of year because it reminds you of family. It reminds you of what you've lost, what you don't have. And so there's a bit of dialogue talking about that, which kind of is, I don't know if it really is. I don't know. It's up to the audience to decide whether that's enough to kind of explain why they're off.
What's going on,
or whether it's not. But the family in the film, believes it. So
everybody's got that kind of mum who, like, if you say, even as a grown-up, if you invite your friend round, your mum will answer the door and go, hey, come in, do you want a cup of tea? Here, have this. Oh, you must be cold, let me take your coat. Oh, are you cold? Oh, let me take your shoes. Oh, there you go. Oh, bye, are you off then?
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't get a word in edgeways, and they're trying to be nice, they're also trying to cook dinner, and it's sort of that time of year where, especially when it's cold, you just put people in, and you sort of, even if something's a bit off, you're still too polite to say anything.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
Also, Sam, like at the start, we actually mentioned, we actually talk about the previous year, don't we? We sort of say, I remember that time when I spewed up that pudding. It's kind of like, it's already quite awkward for us from last year, and that's already a thing that we might be going, they might be thinking,
and it's something that we do every year.
But then they always be like, I don't know if they quite like coming around at Christmas, but we invite them anyway.
That's the thing, like if you've got neighbours that you're friends with, and if they come off and they act like that, you're really going to go, what's wrong with you? Like, do you know what I mean? You kind of, you might not want to offend them by kind of saying,
right.
I just don't invite my neighbours.
Not me. I offend everybody. I'd be like,
I think Americans are kind of a bit more.
I think it's probably kind of maybe a British thing as well.
Yeah.
Right on.
Let's just not talk about anything. Let's just sit down and have some gravy.
We're so scared of offending people by asking them what's wrong in the UK. So I think. Okay. I think British people would understand that kind of mannerism more than maybe the Americans that are happy to kind of be more into your personal business type of thing. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know if but I've heard that before.
Yeah, because we're American. We're rude. We'd be like, smile or get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my God given right.
Excuse me, I'm ever so sorry.
Neal, you've been to Texas.
Oh, mate, Texas was scary at some points, like when you go to
you get thrown out of people's houses.
Pretty much. The one thing about Texas, when you go into a shop and ask if do you sell fags, which in England is a packet of cigarettes, but don't say that in Texas, bro. Like, you get the funniest look in the world.
The worst one I had is in when I was in college. There was I think it was from somewhere like that, Texas. It was kind of southern, and in the UK, if you bum something, it's to borrow or to steal something. It's kind of, and so I went up to him and said, "Hey mate, can I bum a fag?" Right. And he just looked at me with like this terrified look.
We don't take you round.
He thought you were looking for something completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking for a good time.
No,
you go that way.
I'm free after 6.
Yeah, I don't get off till 7:30.
There's a bathroom down the street that's got to go.
George Michael's there.
Was.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, have you guys come to the States very often?
I've never been.
You've never been?
Still want to go.
I went.
We were hoping to go.
I went when I was 8, and I remember being laughed at by an American because I thought a palm tree was a banana tree.
Well,
that's all I remember from that trip. Yeah.
I went when I was about 13. And then I went a couple of years ago, both times to Dallas. I've never been in the US, and it was to see my friend that had been at primary school with me. So I guess is that grade school? I guess you call it. And it was So once was to reunite with her after a couple of years, having not seen her at school. The next was to go back for her wedding, and it had been 13 years in between.
Wow!
And like the first time I went, I just remember going to some sort of supermarket and seeing an entire aisle devoted to chocolate bars.
Yeah.
And I had to buy a box and send it home because I just couldn't. And then the next time I went, I realized how really, really arty and nice Dallas is as a city. But
Tell you where I really want to go. Wearing the shirt that you're wearing, man, you might appreciate this. I want to go to Texas and visit Diamond Vinny's graves.
Yeah, for sure.
Love to do that, man.
Yeah, I have actually not got to do that myself, but that's one thing I've wanted to do because we're not too far from Texas. I mean, we're about 10, 11 hours somewhere
Where
around
are you?
Not too far.
That's like the length.
We could go
of
to
the
Scotland
UK.
and back in that.
Yeah. So we're in mid-Missouri. I live in a small town called Rolla. I am about an hour west of St. Louis.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So,
But, I mean, we're all nodding, but nobody knows where the hell you're talking about. We're all just being...
exactly.
I know.
That's why you say St. Louis, and everybody knows St. Louis. I actually grew up in St. Louis and moved down here years ago with my wife. And
Okay.
have never looked back. I don't want to go back to that hellhole. I can't say it. It's not that bad, but, I kind of like the country life. Now I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I like it out here.
Yeah, I think once you get used to fields and trees and pets, it's quite hard to go back.
Less
to
people,
Buckle.
yeah.
when you're in the city, it's all nothing but concrete jungle, and
Yeah.
it gets old after a while, But anyway, we have spurred way off the topic.
This is great.
Let's get back to some kind of film.
Guys.
What are we talking about? Hots or something?
I love talking just all kinds of stuff with people. But yeah, so one of the cool things that I love what you guys did with the eyes, with Lucy's eyes and Neal's eyes, Jack's eyes. I love how you guys did that. Was it some sort of contact, or did you do that with lighting?
We just get so worked up.
Richard's head is just getting bigger and bigger.
You're gonna have to get your own.
Bigger and bigger.
You go on the laptop because I can't fit in here, man.
Well, I'm getting ready to go right up his alley too.
We don't take kindly to that round here.
They don't got a fag.
Hey, that'll go with the conversation we were talking a while ago.
No, they were all visual effects, so it's all post work.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, Rich, did you do all the effects in the movie, or did you guys actually hire somebody to do effects for you?
No, that was me.
That was all you. You did. So you did all the practical stuff too?
No. We had a practical effects.
Kate
makeup.
Griffiths.
So she did that.
She worked on Wolverine and things like that.
Nice.
Yeah, she's incredible. Yeah,
she was great.
Oh, yeah.
So the dinner scene was 99.9% her. I just added a bit of finesse. I don't really want to say that because it's better when you say it's all practical. But
bit more blood on the wall.
A little bit of blood, a little bit of thing here, a little bit of thing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, but the actual post visual effects I did. So like the tunnel at the beginning, the eyes, and some
right.
The key
lots of visual. I think there's about 200 visual effects shots in the film, which you'd never know. But most of it was removal of stuff that shouldn't be there. Right. So you don't know.
Yeah, but we can't let the people see that.
No.
I mean, it blends in really well, doesn't it? With I mean, if you didn't notice that.
When you've got a light gaffered to the wall behind the characters, it kind of kills the mood. So we've got to get rid of that.
That plus the antlers. I mean.
Yeah. And of course, we got to talk about that magical scene at the dinner table.
Let's do that.
It was
let me get some ice
what you're
from a
talking
drink.
about. I've forgotten. What scene is that?
Yeah.
What is Christmas without a little casual bludgeoning?
Yeah, exactly. I am going to tell you that scene caught me totally off guard.
Good.
In which I'm sure that's what you intended for your audience. We knew going into that scene that something was going to happen, but we didn't know to the severity that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice to hear.
Can I actually ask, did you notice in the scene before? Because in the scene before,
maybe that might be a spoiler.
Okay, then I won't say anything at all. I didn't say
talking about the scene before with the television and the shop. Is that what?
Yeah, there's something there, but I won't mention it because apparently there's a spoiler.
Right.
We're not doing spoilers.
Are
Sorry.
we doing it, or are we not?
Well, I am going to wait until after the movie comes out to release this. That is entirely up to you guys. If you want to put some spoilers in there.
I mean, we can put spoilers in. Just if you can put massive spoiler warnings on the.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry if I caused that.
No,
I
I'm just paranoid. But
we don't want to take away the listeners if they go, I don't want to listen to it yet because of that. But we want everyone.
There's already reviews out there with massive spoilers in. Some people just
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's tell us.
Let's give you everything we can, man. You're cool, man. We're having fun in this.
I'll carry on.
So spoil away. I'm going to wait about a week after the film comes out.
Well, yeah. So there was there's the scene before everyone goes into dinner, and it's Jack. It's Michael, isn't it? Jack and Michael go into the garage, and Lucy comes in after them, sort of uninvited. She's sort of tagging along again, not really speaking, but everyone's too polite to tell her to go away. So they're in there, and as they turn to leave,
do you notice?
Yeah, I wondered if you noticed anything, like, because obviously Lucy's standing there. She's a bit of a third wheel, because those two are having a nice reminiscent sort of conversation about the television and everything. Obviously Jack's a bit unresponsive, and then as they leave, Lucy takes something with her, but I don't know if it's, I mean, I can see it because obviously
I honestly, I don't know that I caught that. I do remember her going in and fondling the gun, the shotgun. And
that's cool.
I can't remember.
And that was a really cool scene, the way you guys filmed that, with her kind of looking over her shoulder at them, you know, while they're having their conversation.
She's sort of like a fly.
That was the other thing that was really interesting, that once they got to the house, it was almost like they didn't know how to do certain things. Like in the kitchen, when the mom asks you to cut the onion, you actually reach over and you grab the knife by the blade.
Yeah.
And start just willy-nilly trying to cut up this onion. So
that wasn't actually direct. We told them to act like they're discovering the world for the first time.
And that's exactly what I got from it.
Well, we were, me and Adam, I remember this vividly. Me and Adam were watching the monitor in another room and watching it. And when she just did that, at first we were like, oh my gosh, she's going to cut herself. Like, what's she doing? But then we obviously realizing she's safe and she's doing it fine. We started laughing at like how amazing that looked, that she just grabbed it by the blade. And we were like, that's amazing. Like, that wasn't direct. That was all Sam. That was brilliant.
But from that direction, from the guys saying about like these things have taken over. The Jack and Lucy characters that you meet at the start, that are these wonderful, lovely people that wouldn't say boo to a goose, and they're just so like lovely and involved in the niceness of themselves. Is that so many things there, like the chopping of the onions, like being taken over by something when you can't quite work out what to do, like an IKEA. We have IKEA over here, which is you build your own furniture from flat packs. And no one has a flipping clue how to put that shit up. You get it, and it's perfectly in English, even though it's a Swedish company. But you follow it, and you go, what the hell am I doing with my life, trying to put this wardrobe up?
Well, that, and they give you the shittiest tool imaginable.
The smallest Allen key that doesn't fit anything in the box, but it does fit your key box outside your house. But great, thanks. But yeah, the chopping of the onions, the holding of things, like the shotgun for me in the garage is there's abnormal movements because we were told that we're not used to this body, and like the kind of voice in certain parts and the eyes is all this new stuff.
Well, and like when Lucy's talking to the mom, Carrie. Is that her name? Cassie. I'm sorry, Cassie. When Lucy's talking to Cassie, and Cassie's like, "How are you?" And then
oh god,
like, "How are you?
How are you?"
You know, and you just knew that there's something wrong there.
And I think that again, it plays into what you were saying about when Michael lets them into the house and they don't say anything, but they're like, "Hi, come on in."
Don't know what to say.
Blah, blah, blah. And then it's kind of like Cassie's like, "Hi, how are you?" And she does clock it, but she's also busy and too polite to say anything.
But she starts looking at like how bizarrely you're cutting the onions.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's almost being too polite to say anything bad. But
it's a British thing, isn't it?
It is. I do think it's a British thing.
Yeah.
Where, like, people wouldn't say anything.
If someone turned up to my house,
weird, like
walked into the house without saying anything,
I'm going to say, from the look on Adam's face, he looks a little worried right now.
What were you going to say?
Worried? No.
Yeah. He's like, oh my God, they're spoiling the movie.
No, not at all. No, I was just going to say that, yes, it is a very British thing, but also it doesn't go unnoticed. It's just more the whole, and I think Rich picked up on it before, like, you kind of wouldn't say that, like, especially on Christmas, or not Christmas night, Christmas Eve, and then, these guys are coming round, and you kind of just want to be as welcoming and whatever as possible to them. But there is a moment where Cassie...
Hey! Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My co-host Ryan just walked in.
Ryan! Where the bloody hell have you been, Ryan? We've been here for flipping 3 hours.
Okay, that microphone is on now.
This one?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, buddy.
You've arrived just in time for dinner.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, I felt bad. I freaking been working my butt off, and I'm like, I told JT I'm going to get back at 6:20. I got back at 6:20. I'm like, I got to be there in 15 minutes. Are you guys still going?
I'm like, yeah, we're still going. We've been talking about all kinds of stuff.
Awesome.
We just got to the onions.
Yeah, we were just having the conversation about them walking into the house and the kitchen where she grabs the knife by the blade and is like
slicing
the.
I told JT, I was like, you can tell definitely just by looking at her hand the way she was holding it. I'm like, yeah, something's going on here.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
Yeah, I love the movie, guys. I know I'm jumping in the middle of a
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, man. Really glad you enjoyed it.
This is Neal, Rich,
hey, man,
Adam, and Sam.
Awesome.
Hi.
This is Ryan.
Yeah, I'm nobody. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's everybody.
Right.
So are we.
We're all awesome in our own minds. That's all that matters.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But I love the movie, guys. I thought it was pretty. One of my favorite parts was the scene in the kitchen just before you smashed a lady in the head with the hammer.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Yeah. By the way, just to let you know, we've said that there's spoilers now.
Stepped all over it already.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry. I probably shouldn't cuss to the New Year, huh?
Yeah, that's fine. I've been cussing them the whole night.
Okay, sorry guys.
Don't worry, she got better, everyone. Don't worry.
Yes, we can edit that out if you need. But no, that was my favorite part because I was like watching just the build up from you sitting there and then you just slowly start rocking. I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen soon. And then that was a perfect build up, and I was like, yes.
Yeah. I
kept saying, I was like, hammer to the face.
Yeah. Well,
I love that people are noticing.
That's what I was saying earlier is that part totally threw us off because we expected her to hit somebody with the hammer, but we didn't expect the severity that came out of that.
Yes.
And this is what we were saying earlier is like we didn't want the jump scare of it coming as a surprise because you're not getting the tension there. You just have a 10-minute boring conversation. But showing the hammer at the beginning kind of created that. So it's coming, Yeah. It's just when. And then we wanted when we wrote, it was so funny, when we wrote the hammer scene, we were like, this is going to be super brutal. It's going to be the most iconic part of the film. We knew that from get-go of writing that scene. And then we were like, so we bludgeoned her to death. And I remember saying to the makeup artist, the SFX artist, she was like, so how do you want the head? Do you want like a hole in it? Like, do you want kind of just like it caved open with some blood? I just went, how flat can you get it? And she was like,
yes.
She was like, flat? Yes. And I was like, yeah, flat. And she went, what do you mean by flat? I said, think of a pancake and make it flatter than that. It needs to be flat. and she was like, I don't understand. And then I just kept saying flat. Just make it flat. That's all I care about is that it's flat. and she sent me this photo after she'd done some work, and it came through my inbox, and just this photo came up my phone, and it was very similar to, and it's very short in the film, that close-up with the eyes and the teeth. And I nearly threw up just from seeing this picture she sent me, and I went, that's the one. That's I'm happy.
I like how Sam's covering her eyes, and she's the one that did it.
I know.
You did it. No,
that is an amazing scene. And I love, like, the aftermath of that.
Yes.
Like when you pull her away from the table.
Oh, no.
On the table.
By the slipper.
I love that moment. I was like to the lads, like, that scene is, like, so flipping iconic, man. Like, what Adam had written and what Rich and Adam had come up with. I was like, dude, I leave the flipping room, man. Like, but then I got that little token bit of just dragging that
No, but you came up with the
so good.
You helped us come up with the nastiest bit of that, which was what I was getting to. I tend to go on tangents. Sorry, guys. But so when we were writing that film, we knew we wanted it vicious. We knew we wanted that flathead, that just annihilation and blood over the rest of the family. So Cassie is in every scene of this film, on every surface of this film.
Literally.
But we were like, how can we make this worse? This needs to be worse, guys. And I can't remember whether it was me or Adam. I always muddle up who came up with what ideas because we're kind of one mind. We work so well together with that. And then we were like, what if she's got cancer? That would be good. Yeah. And it was like, and we just started laughing.
And then she'd gone through the worst years of her life, struggling with like a battle with cancer, and then she's finally got a glimmer of hope to tell on Christmas Eve to our whole family that's together.
Well, this is it. Well, Neal just chirped up because Neal was in from the start, get-go. He was cast before we even wrote the film because we love Neal. And Neal just chirped up from the back of the room and he goes, what if she's in remission? And we're like, that's even worse.
Yes.
I mean, that's
gotta be it. That's gotta be it. We're like, dude.
Well, the whole point of that was like the way that these guys have told me about that scene. And I was sat literally behind where I am now while Adam and Rich were sort of chatting away and doing director and stuff because I'm like an actor and I just do shit. It's not me on screen. And they were just
I'm an actor.
Do shit.
Yeah, I'm illiterate, man. I'm dyslexic. I'm terrible, but I can pretend to be something I'm not. But these guys do all the work and the groundwork, and they were just talking. And I'm just listening, going, yeah, this is cool. And then they're like, yeah, can we make that even worse? And I'm just thinking, this poor woman has gone through hell, and I know people that have been through that hell, like in real life. And I'm sure we all know people. Yeah. That is the worst. I can't imagine anything worse than being told that, going through that, and doing whatever. Right. And these guys are talking about this scene and that, and I'm thinking, this poor woman's gone through everything. And the one little tiny bit of glimmer of hope she has is to tell her whole family all together at Christmas Eve, and some friends that they care about dearly over the road, to invite over and tell them this like emotional story of like her hardship. To then go, all of them are so emotional, going, oh my God, like, oh, this is terrible. Like, Mom, we've been there for you and everything. And then to suddenly go, but it's fine, family. I've got so much more life to go. I can live the rest of my life in with you and have so many more years of happy. Smash it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is when we shot that scene, like the rest of the cast didn't know kind of our dark humor, and there's a lot of dark humor in the film, and lots of people might get that, lots of people might not, but every time, when we finished that scene, me and Adam were watching the rushes and all the cast and crew around, and we're just dying with laughter. We're just pissing ourselves at this brutality, and the cast are looking at us like, and one of them came up and said, what's wrong with you? Like, this is horrible. And we're like, do you not find it funny? This is meant to be funny?
Yeah, welcome to our life.
Like, did you guys laugh at that point? Like,
dude, here's what happened. We were sitting there. Literally, here's what was going on. I was watching her build up. She was sitting there, rocking back and forth. I'm like, she started rocking. I was like, I hit JT. I'm like, JT, hammer to the face. I yelled at the screen. I was like, hammer to the face. And she was waiting, and all of a sudden, wham! I was like, yes! I jumped up, dying. I was like, perfect.
So it was funny. Sam was talking earlier about how you were watching it on a laptop or whatever, and you were like, sometimes you miss parts. Well, we have the beauty in our studio. I've got a projector set up, so we just moved our computer over and plugged it in the projector, and we watched this on a 100-inch screen. So it was almost like being at a theater watching this.
Yeah,
so we caught all those little pieces,
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
So it worked out really cool.
Yeah, every time my nostrils flared when I was
yeah, we seen everything.
We saw it all.
See, that was cool part too. And then like when she
Wait
hit,
till I tell you about the garden.
You missed
the names, bro. You missed a lot.
Oh, you have got some nuggets to look forward to.
Yeah. See, that's the cool thing about what we do too is that we watch them, we get our initial reactions, and then we go back and we watch them again and check out everything, the whole surroundings.
Try and pick out those little pieces and look how they put that in that location and how
I think that as well with this film because when you're in one role or doing one thing, sometimes you don't get to see anything else being made, but also you kind of can't focus on that because you're already doing your own thing. So sometimes you're like, oh, that's how the story ends. Oh, great.
Yeah, they see it all put together. Yeah, I mean,
I did write my own ending, which involved a horse, but apparently...
But it never got made.
Apparently that's... even though it is in my official script, and I did submit it to Adam.
Denied.
But apparently, because it was in pencil, it doesn't count.
It rubs out easy with, like...
Mind you, the
Done it in
dicks
blood.
that Frank Jakeman drew in your thing was in pencil.
Yeah, bloody hell, man. Like,
so,
yeah. I got penises all over my script. So here's it. So every film I do, I always like to take a hard copy of the script, and I get as many people on the set as I possibly can, from crew to runners to cast to directors, because everyone's a fucking team on a film, man. I don't believe in this hierarchy of filmmaking. Everyone's just as key, whether you're making tea or whether you're star of the show.
Yeah.
Everyone's involved. So I go around and get the signatures off everybody, and I save them and I give them to my mum.
Nice.
So
awesome.
That's the thing for me, man. It's like I wouldn't be here doing that shit without what my mum and dad have done for me. So I always sign that stuff, and I had my script everywhere in a nice leather binded stuff, and I learned my 4 lines from the film in beforehand. Well, the first half is a lot, but the next half is hardly anything. And I have that there, and then literally I come to it one day, and there's just loads of penises drawn in every other page, or vaginas. There was a really detailed vagina.
There was a really detailed
with a great clitoris on it. It was.
Yeah, you guys have fit in perfect on the podcast.
Was it a good?
Yeah.
I mean,
at least make it look decent.
Yeah, but that was Frank, the father. That was him. I've worked with him before.
He was the biggest child on set.
He's the biggest child. Like, what do you call a horse with 2 legs?
Yeah. See, this is perfect on the podcast.
He didn't know me that well, but at one point, Neal and I were standing behind a door, and Frank was in front of us. And Neal, you'd worked with him before.
On another horror actually, which is still to come out. Yeah.
So like you guys kind of knew each other, and also like it's kind of like lads' humor and stuff. And then he turned around to me, look at me, like right before when they say like camera rolling, sound rolling. Right before they call action, he just turned around and looked at me and farted so bad.
Nice.
And I'm like...
We had a problem with farting and falling asleep on our set. That was the problem.
My favourite one was, like, Frank is like, and he doesn't, there's no malice, there's no kind of dodginess to him, so, like, because it can come across.
Oh, he's great.
It can sound dodgy, but when you're on set, you realise it's all just... He's just just the funniest guy ever.
Yeah.
And you're on set, and it's that scene just before the dinner table scene where he's having that moment with Cassie, and it's really really intimate and really like delicate, and he's like, is everything okay with Jack? And she's like, yeah, I think so. He's had a hard time, with his dad and stuff like that. And then we're like, cut, and he goes, now get your tits out.
This is literally gonna sound like a regular episode of our podcast.
Yeah.
It happens, man. But that guy,
and that was from chapter 5 of Weinstein's book.
Now we're gonna go back to the casting couch.
How Not To by Harvey Weinstein.
Oh yeah.
So.
No, it was brilliant. But honestly, during that dinner scene, he almost made me put my face in my gravy for making me laugh so much. Like, so yeah. But also, I laugh at everything. I'm a giggle person.
There's nothing creepier than bashing someone's head in and laughing at the same time. So you're good.
It's so serious that you have to, man. Like, Frank is a veteran, bless him. He won't mind me saying this because I'm such good friends with him, and I brought Frank to the guys and said, look, if you need a guy to play this kind of thing, this is the guy. He'll make the process so much easier because he's all for a laugh, and he's been doing it for years and stuff. And like, he's just a quality British actor. I find he was in Game of Thrones, and like. This guy's done a lot of stuff. He's been in a couple of Bond films over the years.
View to a Kill. Yeah, that's one of my favourite Bond films.
Yeah, and Frank is genuinely you. For saying we're doing such a serious piece, whatever, there's not a moment with him around. He's either asleep or he's cracking a joke. Yeah. And like he's like 60, he's like 85 or I'm 82.
I'm 82.
He's 82 fucking years old and he's just sat in the corner asleep.
He's a pure
I tell you what,
legend.
he moved pretty good out of that bed when he saw his dead wife.
Yes,
that was awesome. That was another great scene. I love that. I was like, oh man,
so many great scenes.
You didn't see him making out with that behind the scenes.
I can believe that.
We should probably let these guys talk at some point.
No. You guys are perfect. You guys are perfect. This is exactly what we wanted from you. But I do kind of have a question, and I threw it in my notes at this point because it was a change for me. So I'm a musician. I've played in bands all my life. I really want to talk about the score of this film.
Benjamin Simons.
Do what?
Benjamin Simons, the composer.
Benjamin Simons. I looked him up. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because after the scene where you drag Cassie down the hallway, I noticed that the score in this is... Okay, so to me, it was like they were playing in like a diminished chord, but it was slightly off tune.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that on purpose?
Yeah, so what we did, like, especially when Neal walks in with the shotgun, that's one of my favorite tracks, which is the Nutcracker Suite.
Yes.
Yeah.
But his album comes out tomorrow, so if you want to listen to the score, but that track is called the Skull Cracker Suite in his album.
Sweet.
And it's amazing. So he basically took the Nutcracker Suite, he reprogrammed it, he wrote it in, he programmed it, and then what he did was he's got a synthesizer that emulates a record player, and you can add the amount of wreckedness that's on that. Yeah. So it has a warble, it detunes, and it's got the scratchiness, and it just sounds like a really knackered old record player. So he ran it through that, and I remember him showing me that, and I was like, that is horrific in a really good way.
Because it really throws you off in the film.
But then he added his strings, and his dark horns start swelling in underneath that, and it was like, wow. Like when you're doing that speech to Nadia or to...
right before you lick her face.
Before the lick her face. And it's just so nasty, but such a familiar tune. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like,
and that's like something that we talk about.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
When Rich sent that to me, so Ben played it to Rich first, the Skullcracker thing, and then Rich sent it to me, and I was like, "Fuck, man, that's it." Like this, there's nothing else can. There's nothing better than that suits.
Oh yeah,
that scene.
As a musician, I mean, it really threw me off. I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, it almost makes you dizzy.
It's really it does make you feel dizzy. I had that watching it, and it's kind of like, and listening, you're like, oh, that's an uncomfortable sound, and it's kind of hypnotic and trance-like. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
And we talk about that a lot with movies. The soundtracks and the scores are like something that really adds to it. When you hear when you hear like this Phantasm, when you hear the Phantasm soundtrack, like that first initial song, I mean, it, and it hits you. Halloween, it hits you. Yeah. That right there, I was like, I told JT as soon as I started playing, I'm like, you hear that? I'm like, that's fucking wicked, man. That sounds
Ben's a complete genius, and I think he doesn't get the credit. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's not as known as he should be. He's kind of started out. He's only done 2 features before Hosts. One before, and he's done one since. But I want everyone to be using this guy because he's a proper genius. And he lived down the road from here, and we used his house for the set of their house in the film. He was
cool.
Yeah.
So
we talked about that earlier. So the whole movie takes place in Richard's house.
Nice. Hey. That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah. I was like, dude, how the hell do you stay in there? And
hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, we looked at other houses and we found some amazing ones, and then we were like, how much blood can we chuck around this lovely house you've got? And they're like, excuse me? It's like, well, we've got a lot of blood, and the fact I'm still finding blood around the house today, a year later, is evident of that. So I think we would have lost any deposit we would have had if we had
Right. That just means you did it right.
with Ben, he worked on a short that you shot, and I was in as well as a World War. Was it 2 or 1? World War 2?
Oh, the Eastern Front.
No, we did that one before.
I was going to say,
well,
I
we
thought
did that
that
one
was
afterwards. But the one that Ben did that score as well. Yeah,
he did the score on that
madness,
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I only met Rich. I'd fanboyed Rich outside of a club in Piccadilly that was playing a screener for a short film, and I literally fanboyed Rich the first time.
I thought he was going to rob my wallet.
Yeah, I was literally trying to mug him for like, shit, dude, man.
How much did you
also get me in a film somehow. No, I didn't get nothing. Like I just he watched my showreel, which was great. And it is say what you want. Just make my head swell for a minute. The best showreel he'd ever watched.
This is true.
Yeah, there you go.
This is true.
Best, yeah.
We get a lot, not to sound arrogant or anything like. We get a lot of. I get as a DOP, I get a lot of kind of people come in and messaging me, adding me on Facebook, and then going, "Here's my show," and I'm like, "That's really cool," but I'm a DOP. I don't hire any actors. Do you know what I mean? Like you're kind of wasted. But then Neal did the same thing, and I'm like, bloody hell, and not another one. He's got an interesting face. I'll check it out. And I'm like, it's the first time I've watched a showreel from that kind of process, because I guess you get to a certain level and you don't need Richard Oakes, the DOP, to give you approval to get a film, I'm guessing.
I did, and I got it.
But he said me when I watched it, I'm like, whoa, this is actually good. And I really liked it. And then it was a couple of weeks later, I was at a premiere for a short film I'd done, and I was outside because the film's shit. So I'm outside having a bit of a vape, and Neal walks up to me and he's like, "Oh, you're
safe,
you're
Black.
here."
Yeah,
I'm
what
like,
are you saying, Black?
"Yeah, man. Like, are you okay? Like, just guarding my pockets and stuff." He's like, "You what? You what, blood? Yeah."
I'm smoking a reefer.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's like,
"No, listen, I heard you do cinematography here. Basically, I'm an actor in it. Yeah. I kind of want to do film and stuff here, but I don't know what to do with it." So,
and he's doing all this. I'm like, big fan. I'm like, oh, this guy's a bit mental. Cool, man. I'm going to go inside, and I'm battling in my head. Do I go in and watch a really shit film, or do I stand here and listen to some kind of crazy guy who's coming up to me and telling me how much he loves my work?
He went and watched the film.
Like, back and forward. And then he's like, I sent you my showreel. I'm like, which one were you? And then I brought it up and I was like, and all my guards kind of dropped, and I was like, you're amazing, dude. You're actually really amazing. And we kind of hit off, and we spent the rest of the night kind of just chatting and stuff. And then 2 weeks later, I was DOPing on a film with him, and we kind of hit it off. And
it was the same director that you just said filmed the shit.
Yeah, he knows that one.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. That started the Me Too movement. That one.
We'll make his head swell even more. Neal, you were completely ominous in this film. I mean, you truly were. I mean, you flipped a switch from the beginning of the movie, to just being an awesome villain.
Yeah.
I mean, both of you.
Because
you're absolutely amazing.
I was sitting there watching. I'm sitting there and just me being me. I'm like, why is no one noticing these two just staring forward? Yeah. So I'm like, come on. And then, man.
That's what I loved. When you said that, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago, you said you noticed Sam just kind of rocking back and forth before it happened. And it's those
little subtle things.
Yeah, you're the first person that's, at least to me, said that. And I love that, because we wanted her to do that. We wanted her to almost get off on the fact of what she was about to do and be
100%.
Wicked.
We knew she had the hammer. We could see it, and then all she's like, she starts fidgeting in her seat, and then all of a sudden she's rocking back and forth, and then they're like, "Shit, something's gonna happen here."
Well, me and Sam discussed this. We talked about this on our previous podcast, but we halfway through, not even halfway through, when it came to sort of the focus on Sam's bits in that whole dinner table scene, we had a little discussion, me and Sam, about what is it like. I was really intrigued on what she was doing, because I could sense her as an actor next to me doing what she was doing, and that build up all the time. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but the whole time she's doing that, I'm focused 100% on something, and no one no one yet has picked up, and it was just something that
I just said.
So
I noticed all
we were both watching you two, and it looks like both of you are staring Cassie down.
Oh, straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I told you.
Sam's approach is a lot more professional to mine. Like I just went shit like with these kind of things, and we don't like things wrong with anything that's like not right or can't be used. We get rid of.
Yes.
We don't like it
because
so
they need the body. They need the body.
We
to
need the
take
body
over,
to
like that's the plan. But she's kind of tainted and ruined, so it's kind of like.
We're like,
Well, and then you get up and walk away, and we're like, where the fuck is he going? You know?
Yeah.
And, you know,
but that's the
you were
whole
gone
thing
for a long time.
Yeah, well, this everyone says there was a.
You're taking a shit, weren't you?
I was outside like.
Even demons have to poo.
Yeah,
demons got to poop too.
Yeah, luckily that night it was a ghost poo, and it was easy straight back.
Came right out.
Straight with a shut on. Like,
I mean, I've taken some shits that I thought were a demon, but you know,
demons.
I drink a lot, so
this house has been cleansed.
But me and Sam seriously had talked about like what is this, and I say I don't mean that in a silly way, but Sam took a process to a next level to what I did, and just working with what Sam did and what I did, a totally different approaches kind of I felt worked so well with it, because her intensities on that scene, especially focusing on Cassie, and I'm focusing on Cassie, but I'm focusing on this. So and Sam's way of doing it was so like, yeah, I'm doing this, and that. It was totally different but very, very similar, if you know what I mean. That sounds really contradictory. And the way that you pick up on what Sam does, and I every time I watch that scene, I don't listen to what the people are saying in that scene. I'm solely focused on what Sam's doing, because if you do pick up on what Sam's doing, that's the more interesting thing to watch than the
100%. I caught as
an actor, that's just how you do that is ridiculous. Like,
even her facial expressions, like I watched because as soon as she just started rocking just for a little bit, you didn't notice it, but then I start watching her face, and then you can see like the little quick grins or the little eye twitches.
It's excitement building. Like
I remember me and Adam were stood behind the monitor, and you know, we can't take credit for the amazing things that these actors and actresses did. And I remember us sitting there, and we obviously told them what was going on and what the lines they had to say, but a lot of it they kind of embodied themselves, and we kind of said yay or nay. So we've got to give them complete credit with that type of thing. I mean, Adam obviously went through everything with them and how he wanted certain things, but I remember me and Anne, we were stood behind the monitor, and we were watching the scene on the wide. So it was where you're seeing everything, and it was from beginning to end. So it was from beginning to the hit was one take. Like there was no, like I know it cuts about a bit through the thing, but we there was the one thing we said to them is like you can be a little bit loosey-goosey with the script and stuff, but the dinner scene you have to learn like a play, because we had that one evening to shoot the whole thing.
Wow.
From beginning to end, and we barely got done at the end of that. We actually cut about 5 minutes out of that on the day because we had to make a call. There was a few more things that happened, but we were like, what's needed here and what can we get done, because we're not gonna,
you guys nailed it for sure.
Yeah. But watching
literally
that
the table
with a hammer.
but watching but watching that monitor, I just remember me and Adam watching Sam from beginning to end, and this slow just rise through, what is it, like 8 minutes or something?
Yeah,
Rise.
Slow burn, but it was good.
And the amazing thing, not that your eyes are kind of drawn to the chest area, but
that's what my eyes were drawn to.
Her chest was slowly kind of rising as with the breaths that she was taking, and as the scene went, it kind of got faster and faster and faster of this kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like this adrenaline you could see pumping and pumping and pumping in her veins up to that point. And I remember Adam turned to me and he just pointed and was just like, look at that. And we were both just grinning ear to ear.
Definitely caught it. I mean, it was there.
I think
it's funny.
It's funny. You know, little beautiful Sam into standing up and bashing this woman's head in. You know, you just don't see that very much.
Whoa, wait. I don't think it's too difficult to talk a woman into bashing someone's head in. I've been with my wife for like 20 years. I'm only 34, but I've been in a relationship for 20 years, so I know how volatile women can be.
Yeah, man. I think every man does, man. Every man does.
That's good going, man. I've been 18 years of mine. That's all.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's an achievement, man. You get your certificate in a few years.
Yeah.
You get your medal.
I've got 5 kids, and I'm like, come on.
Hey, 2 more years, you're considered an antique. So, you know.
Hey, man, I'm a classic. That's what I call myself.
Did you just call it a mantique?
A mantique?
A mantique. Is that what you said?
Antique.
Oh, right. Sorry. I thought you just invented a new award.
We do make up our own words on the show quite often.
We do.
Great. Well, congratulations on your mantique.
Yeah.
You were the mantikiest person.
So I missed it. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but are you guys into the horror genre?
Yes.
Yeah.
Adam especially. I'd say Adam is the connoisseur. I kind of dip. I'd say I lean slightly more towards thriller.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this before on a previous talk or interview, and the great thing, which I think at first you think that might not marry, is we both are scared of different things, and you want to put on screen what scares you, obviously, what scares yourself. I'm scared of humans. And anything human, because I believe in humans, and I believe in horrible humans, and that's why I lock my door at night.
Yeah.
Whereas Adam finds the supernatural a lot more scary.
No, it's not that I find it scary. It's that, well, I mean, I guess certain things I did when I was younger. I mean, like I was saying earlier, the first film I ever saw when I was 8 was the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and that, that's like, shit, what is this? This is terrifying. I loved it, but it's more, I'm on the same page as you, Richard, on that sense. Like, people scare me, and what scares me the most out of anything, especially these days, like getting older, is films like Hereditary and Midsommar, when it's what people do, and it's manipulation and all that horrible shit that happens in day-to-day life. But because I grew up watching, I guess, more on the horror spectrum as opposed to Rich watching on the thriller spectrum, although we both, I guess, intertwine in the two, and I love thrillers and psychological thrillers and stuff like that, but I guess for me, the horror aspect of it and the supernatural aspect of it is kind of fantastical. I kind of love it.
Yeah.
And, do you know what I mean? And that's
like with our I don't know if you talked about this, but like with our podcast, like we are like a huge umbrella of things, because we also do like paranormal investigations, and we do like investigations to all kinds of things. Like I'm huge into anything that makes life a little bit more interesting. So, to believing in ghosts or demons, whatever it may be, it's just a little bit more thrilling than saying, there's nothing else out there, and then life's it's just this and you're done. I
think the point, like I was saying, was like that. I think Adam finds the supernatural kind of interesting stuff, whereas I've never found horrors about that scary because I don't believe in it in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So I'm more on the kind of the real stuff, so like funny games and home invasion stuff scares me. Psychopaths scare me. So that's why I guess the thrillers kind of hit me more, because they're more about like Seven is a big thing. It's one of my favorite films. Stuff like that, and Saw I love because it's humans. You know what I mean? And then Adam's got the side with like The Exorcist and possession films and love stuff like that. And we were like, well, how do we marry those two? And I think that's exactly what we've done. Do you know?
Oh yeah, and I was going to say that. It's kind of funny. I was going to say that because like we're talking about horror and like paranormal and scary stuff or all this stuff, and you're talking about thrillers and horrors. To me, horror is thrilling to me.
Yeah, totally.
That's how it's so weird. We talk about this on our show, how something that's supposed to be thrilling and scary and horrifying brings people together, right? Because everybody likes to be scared.
I mean, look at
man. Well, everyone looks to everyone else for comfort when you're scared. Do you know what I mean? You look to people for comfort. And
it's crazy.
the conscious decisions that the guys made on this film to make people feel uncomfortable and scared so that they seek that kind of comfort was all thoroughly planned and thought out. And Rich was talking to me the other day, and Adam on the podcast about some of the shots of the dinner scene are just safety shots. Like, these guys' minds had so much more there, but because of the time restraints and stuff like that, the guys executed what you've watched and you speak about so highly, and what it does for you as people. Like, that was just let's just get that for safety, because the time restraints are there, and the thorough, carefully thought out planning of what you wanted to achieve and what you've achieved in so many other scenes in the film is part of that. It's making people feel uneasy and scared to seek something, or just not know what they need to do.
Well, I think that's going slightly back to what we said. I think I can't speak for Adam on what he finds the most interesting emotion in films. My favourite emotion watching film is tension. Absolute tension of being on the edge of my seat. I'm not so much into being scared, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think Adam loves kind of fear stuff, and I think that's the difference between a thriller. I think a thriller is tension, and a horror is fear.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a tough one. Like, I agree with you, Rich. I mean, the tension scares me. It scares me. It makes me feel uneasy. It makes me want to stop watching, but continue watching at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, if I'm watching a film about some fucking monster, for example, like, I'm not scared of the monster. I'm scared of the victim and the tension that leads up to whether the victim is or isn't gonna get killed. Do you know what I mean? It's that tension, and that all depends on how well they've established that character and how much you, as the audience member, care about that character, which is why Rich and I found it so important to really spend time getting to know these characters, not only the good guys, the Hendersons, but Neal and Sam, Jack and Lucy as well, to the point where not just myself, when we were writing it, but others that we spoke to as well, you obviously you love Jack and Lucy at the beginning, but after they turn, you still kind of love them, but you hate them at the same time. Exactly. And you feel so sorry for them too.
I was going to say that. I was just getting ready to say.
We're trapped inside there, man. We can't get out. And I don't especially get out of that character. Lucy has a moment which is pure fucking genius for me in the film, of when she's there at the end going, Lauren, and she becomes herself for a brief second, and that's I've done nothing wrong here. She's going, I've done nothing wrong here, and then boom, she's not even in the position to give her a chance because of everything that's gone on, and Jack doesn't get that moment. He doesn't even get a chance to explain. It's just it's done, and Lucy, that moment, and Sam plays it so beautifully, and Adam, I remember that whole night, Adam standing there with Sam
in -5 degrees,
-5 degrees on a table in the middle of a forest, just giving these words of wisdom to deliver that in the right way, and that is a pivotal moment for Lucy's character.
I don't know if you guys picked up on this, and it was something that I brought up with Rich and Adam, but also like Neal and I kind of touched on it, but I think it's kind of you can go with or without it. It'll make sense. Like, basically, when Jack and Lucy get possessed, it's not specifically laid out whether Jack and Lucy are still there whilst they've been possessed, whether they're there and unable to do anything. Or whether they are completely inactive and don't have any idea what's going on, and then they wake up at the end, or if they're playing a part in it. And I think it sort of waves between a few of them. But there's a scene where I'm opposite Buddy, who plays Ben, where I do my own dental examination.
We were going to talk about that.
And I think that's one scene which for the entity that embodies Lucy, for the demon, it was quite an emotional scene for the demon, because the demon's been sitting under the ground for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But then also, like, for Lucy, there was kind of two ways I was playing it. It kind of, for me, she sort of came and went in terms of being able to see what's going on and not being able to do anything, and not being there at all. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a waning battle with whatever's taken over her body. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, like a fight for your soul, like a you know.
I think it's a lot more interesting if they're there, if they're aware, but they're not, like I said, like the get out kind of syndrome, where they're trapped behind the eyes, but incapable
Can't do nothing.
Controlling any of the body. Do you know what I mean?
That was the intent, man. That's what I felt the whole way through, and that was the intent when writing it. I guess you can't ever get that to come across when you're writing dialogue and stuff, but that was really important to be able to see that in their eyes. And that's why in particular your scene when you pull out your teeth and you deliver this monologue to Buddy was like that is the take, because you can see malice, sadness, and pain, and a million other emotions in your eyes at the same time. And same goes to you, Neal. In other scenes you do, like the both of you are fucking insane actor. Like, you're both amazing, and to be able to
fantastic.
Do
that, there's a point, Adam, and I touched on it again before in other things we talked about. That thing of what I brought to you initially, and you and Rich as directors, of what I thought this was, and then you both sort of going, "Nah, it's this." And there was an element of that of I brought as an actor naturally. This is the script. I get this from this, and this is what I brought to you boys. And there was a pivotal moment where the guys went, "Nah, mate, that's not what we're thinking." And I'd spent ages going, let me get my agent on the phone, because I thought I didn't have an agent. But the guys had said that no, this is this. You don't get that much with films of this sort of caliber, like where the guys are so focused and so knowing of what they want to convey in certain scenes. And what I brought to a scene that I've rehearsed with the guys, and they said, no, it doesn't. That's not what we have in mind here. And as an actor, you sort of go, oh, just spent like 5 days preparing this shit. Like, although it was 3 hours, I was like, while they were filming something else, and they went, nah, it's this, Neal. This is what I need from you for this, for that to work. And since then on, I apparently I nailed it, but since then on, there's that whole thing of knowing that you're trapped. The character of Jack is a lovely guy who thought so much of his girlfriend to make something thoughtful on Christmas. Now we've all received a frying pan or a fucking book on your Christmas Day from your missus. And
well, that's funny, because
she's fucking playing that, man. Like, we've all received that shit, but this guy thought about this Christmas and thought about the life that she'd been living and the struggle she'd been doing, and thought to tell this person how much they mean to them.
And he wore the shit jumper that she bought him.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear that shit. You know what I mean? Like, but that
it was burgundy.
You got to put it on.
Yeah, I've got to put it here, man. We've got it. Do you want to buy it?
I'm going to go for a quick wee. Sorry, guys.
Oh God, here we go. So, I want to know real quick, what was the deal with the teeth? You guys were like,
okay. So when you say what was the deal?
Well, the reason why I bring that up is because you had the two scene in the scene we were just talking about. Love that sweater, by the way. And then also there was a point where you actually reach into Eric's lips and like you're pulling his lips apart and you're looking at his teeth.
Oh yeah.
Examining him for imperfection.
Yeah, so I guess
gotcha.
I guess like if you guys have ever worked with livestock or horses or anything, like I guess for me, the way it made sense to me.
Holy shit, you guys truly do get people naked on your set.
See?
Now you just have to tip him at the end. If you ever work with like livestock or anything, you do sort of like, I think one of the, apart from looking at the hooves and stuff, nobody likes
their teeth.
Even in horror films, no one likes toes.
There's black girls who make money off their feet.
Oh, damn.
All right. Well, maybe that will be my next film. It's kind of, you're just checking for any sort of sign of weakness, and that's the whole thing. I mean, the dinner scene, I'm sniffing out a weakness, and my whole thing behind that was like, I can smell Cassie's cancer. I'm just figuring out who has it.
Yeah, and it was building up.
You know? And then it's like, when it comes to Lee, like, I know that he seems like a strong individual, but I'm just gonna like, and that's kind of why, because I bash him with the rifle to get him to go, and we're kind of just pushing him, and then, you know, I examine his teeth. Which is a great thing that we have mouthwash on set. That's another thing that I advise to any upcoming actors: always brush your teeth, and just in case someone has to poke their fingers in them.
Yeah. Pardon? What the fuck have I just walked into?
Don't worry about it.
You're good. Just change your shirt and you're good.
There's a reason for me and Rich. I don't know whether it's up to you, Rich. I don't know whether we mention this now or we mention it maybe in a few years. But there's a reason why
I think it's fine to talk about it. I think
there's a reason why we involved teeth specifically in this film, and why we will probably involve teeth in some shape or form in every film we do.
Because the film teeth was shit.
I was just gonna mention that movie
give you something to chew on.
Actually, that's funny, because in a podcast, in an interview the other day, they said, "What's the shittest horror film you've seen?" And I said, "Teeth." So, yeah.
Yeah, that movie was
that was pretty
ironic.
Messed
I
up.
had one vagina in that film, and I was.
But anyway, I want to hear the story.
Well, the reason behind why we want to use teeth in every film is kind of a little well, I say joke, but it's not really. It's an in-joke or belief for me and Rich. Like, you know, that kind of solidifies our friendship, to be honest, because teeth like if you dream of your teeth falling out, like in whatever, it sort of represents some sort of wealth coming your way. You know, it's something to do with money. So the idea of us being able to make films now, and having made our first film and continuing to make films, whether that becomes easy after this or it's still a hard slog, we're still going to do it, you know. And involving teeth is almost our way of kind of grounding us, knowing that we want to make a living off of this. We don't care about being filthy rich. We just want to make a living off our dream, you know. And involving teeth is like our kind of way of always remembering why we did this in the first place.
But the other side of it is as well is like that it's kind of the opposite as well, is like we want to involve teeth to remind us that it's not about money, and that it's about the creativity, and it's a reminder that don't ever kind of, if for some reason we got picked up and got onto some big career, that because one principle that me and Adam have stuck to with this, and we got told quite a lot by lots of people, rightly or wrongly, but we're stubborn bastards. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do this. You're going to sell more. You know, you need to get this person in to sell more. You need to do this to sell more. And we've just gone, nah. Do you know what I mean? We're just going to do whatever we want.
Oh, you can't make that film because like you've got to like do 15 million fucking drafts of your script before you fucking sell it.
One thing we got told was, you know, you can't have this build-up that you've got at the beginning. You have to have a death in the first 5 minutes, or you're not going to sell this film. And we were like, yeah.
No,
we want to make the film that we want to make, and we want to build these characters. And we've had so many people. Yeah. We have had a couple of people go, "Oh, it's so long," but we've had the majority of people have said that was masterfully done of building the characters, and you guys are one of those people.
It's mainly Americans, man. Like, we thought the British would love our shit, but
yeah.
We thought the Americans would pan us because of the American, like, oh, we don't like that British shit, man.
Yeah. Oh no, man, we love that shit, dude.
Also, everything's grey and rainy.
Yeah. Oh my God, do you have like sunshine in fucking UK? Like, what the fuck?
Why do you think we all look so young? It's because we haven't seen sunlight in 20 years.
Look how pasty all of us are, man.
So I'm guessing, did you cover Sam's wisdom teeth while I was having a wheel?
Oh
no, yeah.
Well, see, like the thing about it, you know, you're talking about how it's funny because like I've talked to people from the UK that go to like college up here, and people from some other places too. But like, they think the same thing. I'm just like, why would they think that Americans don't like this? But I mean, it just goes that way. But in the movie world or the horror world or whatever you want to say, you know, it's like music. Movies bring people together. Music brings people together. Yeah. I can have a completely different point of view on some things as you, but just because that doesn't mean anything. We can still be friends, and we can still.
You've engaged.
I just don't want to talk to your ass.
Yeah, I don't like this fucking guy at all. But I'm on.
But that's what works.
I think the opinion that most British people have of the American horror fans is that they just love loads of jump scares, and that's kind of it. And it's like, we're not into that at all. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
most of us don't like that. I mean,
that's good. Yeah,
true horror fans aren't all about the jump scare. We want some tension, like you guys built in this movie. We want some character building, and you know, get us involved, suck us into that movie.
A perfect example of it is like that scene, like I said, because I love that scene, the whole dinner scene. Like when you started rocking, and then I'm like, okay, I caught it right off the bat.
Listen, we talked about that already.
Well,
we'll talk about it again. It's that good.
What I was gonna say is that I started rocking, and then as you kept going further, I was like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
That's cool.
That is cool. And I'm like,
see that? I'm
Have it in the face. Have it in the face.
And then
in your face.
In your face. Smash it. Smash it. Smash.
Yes, I literally was yelling that out at the screen, and then bam, it happens, and you're just like, fuck yes. And then it kept going, and I'm like, fuck yes. And it kept going, and I was
like corpse, hammer, smash face.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward. I'm so looking forward, and I'm hoping it goes as well as I hope, and everyone doesn't boo us off. But I'm so looking forward to next week. We're off to Sieges in Spain for the first cinema showing in the world with a horror fan crowd, and apparently they cheer at every death in every film we watch.
We don't want them to cheer at that point.
This comes out on the 8th, right? So we're going to Sieges tomorrow to watch the screener of this film. Right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
This podcast,
Well, we're going to celebrate in a minute because it's technically the 2nd and it's out in America, but you haven't got to the 12 o'clock cut-off yet.
Right.
What time is it there now?
It's 7:25.
Oh, so we got 5 hours.
We've got 5 hours.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's. What time is it over there for you guys?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
25 past 1.
Bedtime. But no,
can we?
Sorry, guys.
Can we ask?
Up all night.
No, we love it. We love it.
Can we just ask? There's something we kind of want to do because, like, on your podcast, it might be special, it might not be, but it was Adam's birthday a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
sweet.
Oh,
and we kind of we didn't present him with a present from us on his birthday, but the present has arrived,
and we want to present.
it to him, so he gets really excited and wants to come and see us.
Nice.
So we can't. Do you mind if we do this? It's
do
not
we
make
need
sense
to
to your listeners, bro, but.
We'll light some candles.
We kind of. Da, 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 we kind of.
Hell yes!
Adam is the biggest fan of snapbacks and hats and
that's embroidered, not
embroidered.
Hell yeah! I love me a hat myself. I'm always wearing hats.
We got the snapback shit. Fuck the mosh hat for a minute.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love you guys, man.
We got that for you. It took ages to come, but it's finally come, and we're like, we can't wait till he turns up here. So we had to just show him there. So he's
it's awesome, man.
Wait till he shows up over there and tell him, oh, sorry, they're all gone.
Dude, that's awesome. I fucking love that, guys. I love you to bits, man.
Love
Thank
you
you,
too,
dude. Those are awesome.
Wait a second.
Happy birthday, Adam.
Where's your birthday?
Thank you. It was last Thursday. It was the 24th.
Oh, my wife's birthday is the 28th, so she just had her birthday. So.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
sweet.
Do you like the tea on that, guys?
It don't matter.
The tea. Do you like the tea?
Oh,
hey guys,
hammer, dude.
While we're here, we should plug the fact that we do have merchandise available now.
Oh yeah, plug away.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got some limited edition exclusive hosts t-shirts and hoodies with the exact same logo that you just saw Rich and Neal show on the hat. go to www.hostsmovie.bigcartel.com, and they are selling fast. So go and pick one up.
Pick it up.
Send me a link over to our email, and we'll post that up on our page.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
See, and what's cool about, and something that's cool about all this is that you guys are starting off, and I think it's cool. This was your first movie, right? That you guys.
Yeah.
Their directorial debut.
Yes, and that's all you guys did. First of all, you guys know you did awesome. I'm done licking your nuts on that. You guys did good.
What? We've got another 2 hours of that, please.
I was like, sorry. What do you mean? You're
I'm
not?
sorry. But anyways, no, it's cool because this is one of the reasons you were talking about when you start talking about the whole, the reason why teeth are involved and the building on your dreams and stuff like that and staying grounded. With this podcast, we've been doing this for about 2 years. It all started off with me and him talking about metal because we're metalheads, and me and him both talking about metal. And then we both love horror movies. So, yeah. Fuck yeah, I love Maiden. But, I love Maiden, dude.
Distracting.
I fucking love Maiden.
Yeah, it was funny. We went to lunch one day, and he was like, dude, we need to start a horror podcast. And I was like, what the fuck's a podcast? But and then here we are 2 years later, and I'm the one editing all this shit.
Put his ass to work. But it's the as long as you enjoy what you're doing, and like this podcast, I love talking to people like.
I was going to say shit. Neal left again.
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck you guys." Someone's getting a fucking head. Where's the hammer at?
Shit, man, I was sweating my balls off.
I knew it. But it's like a grassroots type thing, and you build it up. And we've had opportunities to do some things that we could have probably made some more money on, but we wouldn't have liked it because it would have changed.
It wouldn't have been us.
It would have changed what we are. And that's why I like talking to people like you guys, because...
Listen, circumstance plays a...
You want to do something that you care about.
Yeah.
When these advertisers come to us and be like, hey, we want you to, advertise extra large condoms. And it's like, well...
I've been doing that for years.
You come to the right place, motherfucker.
Why would I want to advertise?
Well, hello.
I'm Catholic. How dare you?
But money changes.
And if they don't fit, Lucy's good with a pair of tweezers.
Yeah.
Ryan's gonna model that shit.
Hell yeah. I ain't afraid. But I just think it's awesome to talk to people who are up and coming, and then see where they're at down the road, and find out that they kept that groundness, and that we could. You guys are
on the. Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was nervous as hell going into this interview because I'm like,
don't do that, man.
What?
But then once you two came on and started talking, and then Adam came in and Sam, and dude, it's been a blast, man.
Listen, man, I've said this from the start of my career, and it's the reason I work with people like Adam and Rich, because they came to me when I'm a nobody. And it's all a big, massive process that follows on. Like Rich took that time to watch my show reel. I took that time to read the script that he asked me to read. I took that time to go and meet Rich and Adam at a bar in London to talk about their other film. I took that time to sort of say, this stuff is really good and I'd love to be involved. A lot of people are so used to watching cinema or film as there's a celebrity there. There's someone that can make someone else money. This isn't about any of that. I would have done this film for nothing. I'd have gone into debt for this film because of the guys, because of what they do and their passion. Because I've been doing it for 15, 16 years, bros, trying to do this, and I'm sure Sam is in a similar boat. We're trying to do what we enjoy doing, and I wouldn't change the process of this film being made. I wouldn't change the budget. I wouldn't change the cast. I wouldn't change the crew for anybody. But there's no need for that in filmmaking. Filmmaking, like what these guys have done and started and spurred on everybody else to come and join in with that, is the love of what it is. And it's not the love of where you can get with it. It's the love of what you're creating that people like yourselves and other people will look at. And if it's a guy that we talked to 2 weeks ago or a week's time that has 4 followers on Twitter with their podcast, I don't care, man. I would talk to that guy with the same respect as anyone else, because we were saying earlier that the people in America and the people we've spoken to, we listened to a podcast the other day that we didn't even have an interview with the guys, and they just talked like I've listened to people talk about films by Christopher Nolan, by Tim Burton and stuff.
Right.
And they're talking about like this guy's going, oh my God, man, this fucking film, this scene, this shit is, oh my God. And I've dreamt of that shit as an actor. And I've been doing it for 15 years, and this is the first film to get me anywhere near
and we're
that.
Giggling like girls listening to it. And it's not a big podcast, and we're just like, this is just cool. Like, it's awesome.
That
like,
means
we're all
so much,
nobodies.
man.
It's like, do you know what I mean?
The effort that went in. I mean, we were all there present. All four of us here were present for the making of this film. And nowhere near did we think this would come of it. Talking to you two is such a big deal. We're here like with bells on, waiting to talk to you.
It's a big deal for us talking to you guys.
Yeah, dude, like we've
it really isn't. It really isn't. Like we made this film, and we were like, what would be the best scenario for this film? And I remember saying to Adam, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be really cool? Because a few of our friends and a couple of the things I DOP'd have ended up in our local shop. Do you know what I mean? And we were like, wouldn't that be cool if we could get that? And then suddenly we're like, we've got in a couple of hours the US release, and we're like, what's going on? Like, this is mental.
Well, I can tell you what.
Let me tell you.
Overwhelming.
Go ahead.
It's still incredibly overwhelming to just think about it. Like the film's I mean, it's October the 8th technically, so the film came out like last week and whatnot, and it's just stupid. Like two people like
mental.
Well, see, we haven't really done something on that level, you know, but like the stuff that we've been doing for the past 2 years, and then like we just went out and did a live show at this haunted attraction out here. Nice. They have like 4 or 5 different attractions, you know, and we're going to cut a promotional video for them. That kind of stuff, you know. Yeah. It makes us. Well, see, that's the thing. We can build a freaking, you know, a group of people that you talk to, and then you just got that connection there. And I was worried because I don't know if you guys have listened to our podcast. If not, it's cool. It's all right. But
we will be doing. That's the whole point. We didn't know you. Now we do.
We've become super fans of the people that have been like, oh my gosh, we don't know how to deal with you on the podcast. And we're now hounding them to the point where they're like, can you piss off? Because we're trying to sleep, and we're like,
we've got podcasts that's going nice. Right,
and they're like, oh God.
What I was going to say is, like, I was worried because I was like, okay, I want to do a good promotional video for these guys, and I want to do a good interview, but like, I'm surprised that I haven't said the word fuck more than I usually do.
Don't fucking say it, bro. Fuck.
I use the word fuck as like an adjective, a noun, a verb. Like,
you would do very well in Scotland, my dear.
Yeah,
well, I got a lot of Irish blood. I'm half Irish.
He's got a potty mouth.
Half Irish.
Which half? The bottom or?
Definitely.
Half of the top.
I've been told I'm, yeah.
But I see the you put anything on it. He's fucking saying, don't worry fucking about horse.
But, it's cool because we get to meet you guys and on here, and then like you find out that people are cool. You can talk the way you want to be around people, because like I'm true to myself, but like sometimes I catch myself, I'm like, did I really just say that to them? And it's like,
bro, I will give you a bit of advice. Never question that shit, man. Never question that.
Rich and I have been talking back and forth through Messenger for a few days. Well, for about a week now. And he sends me a message. He says, so what'd you think of the film? And I was like, dude, I loved it. I've watched it a couple of times. His next response to me was, man, that's great, because it wouldn't be very fun to talk about a shit movie.
Well, you got to look at it like this, though. Just remember that, too. Evil Dead. All right? That's a perfect example. Evil Dead, when it came out, people were like, oh, but now it's a fucking cult classic, man.
But it's the only remake that I really fucking enjoyed.
That remake I bought the other day, it's outstanding.
And I even enjoyed that like random flipping series with what's his name?
I haven't watched it yet.
That's great, man. Like
Ash versus
Ash versus. It's so good, man. Like, I don't know what that is. It's so good.
That Evil Dead remake. is they used more blood in that rain scene than any other movie ever.
Yeah,
I think they used something like 150,000 gallons of blood.
Is that in the toilet scene?
That's close to house, I think.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The carpet soaked a lot of our gallons.
Yeah. I think it's not as evident on the camera how much we used.
No, I'm telling you guys, man. You guys...
Dude, that hallway scene, when you see that big old splotch of blood going all the way down the hallway, you're like...
We had to turn down the volume on the sound because it's like, you could clearly hear it's sticky from like 3 days.
It's proper tacky. It's like Velcro. We had to kind of cut all the sound of them walking.
Every now and then you'd find
it was like...
the carpet would come up so it wasn't stapled down properly or something.
You got to watch the behind the scenes that comes out on the DVD because it's really interesting.
So when is the DVD coming out?
The
November 11th.
11th of your buys.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can pre-order it now, actually, on Amazon. You can.
I probably will do that.
We're pushing for
Because I was
Blu-ray,
hoping
man.
you guys would put some. So are you guys are you going to put any kind of like deleted scenes or anything in there?
We'll send them
There's
to you
no
personally.
deleted scenes because there was no deleted scenes. What we wrote in the script is exactly
there
what
were.
ended up on
Adam
screen.
was talking about some deleted stuff.
It's my fuck-ups, basically.
Film.
There's deleted shots for sure, but no scenes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam, I don't want to see your junk, but you know.
He's lying.
Send that separately.
He told me the same thing.
I think we need to kind of tail back to like a conversation about an hour ago, which I really want to talk about Sam's teeth because it's really interesting that the makeup artist, amazing as she did, because she did the head scene and everything, we were like, we need some wisdom teeth. And
she made a fake idea of them.
She spent about a week kind of making these teeth, and it was amazing. And she came up with these things, and it was like, yeah, I think they'll work on the camera and stuff because they weren't 100%, I guess.
Right.
They're an amazing job for what she did, and then Sam just rocks up on set and hands us her own teeth.
Oh shit!
And that's what's in the film is her actual wisdom teeth.
Dedication. That's what I like.
Her dad put them on a necklace for her when she was a kid. So
I remember her telling us that, and I said to her, "You better turn up on set tomorrow with your teeth."
She did.
on the day of Sam's scene, I text her and I said, "Don't forget your teeth."
Don't forget your
teeth.
There's a little
talking to some old
subtext.
lady or something.
Everybody's hand.
Dentist.
There's a little subtext of what teeth they are that she gives Ben, which kind of explains a little bit. Like lots of people are like, that's just random horror, but there is meaning towards it. So the type of teeth that she gives is kind of a subtexty kind of thing of what she's doing.
But I mean, nevertheless, it was okay. So for example, if you've got loads of spit in your mouth or loads of blood, it comes out. You don't hold it and spit it. You just have it and it comes out. So having to hold like a syringe full of blood and my own teeth. And by the way, wisdom teeth are like this. They're like,
I thought they were quite small.
She's got elephant teeth, by the way.
But they go halfway up to your nose, right? So like, I've got these in my mouth. So they're like, okay, Sam, can we go for a take? And I'm like,
Hamster face.
I'm like, can I do one at a time? No, do both.
Was it a weird feeling putting your own teeth back in your mouth?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That would be rather
Weirdest
bizarre.
thing was like
The fact that I've got a necklace of them at home now.
This is the weirdest part. Is after that scene, Adam took the teeth on the necklace and went, I think I'm keeping that.
Souvenir for the film.
it's stained red because of
That
the
makes it
blood.
even better. Makes it even better. I've got them on
I
my
wasn't going to say anything, but I was like, well, teeth, huh? Kind of reminded me of a Universal Soldier with the ears.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like a tiny piano.
I mean, she said Universal Soldier. I thought Small Soldiers and thought of all them little
I remember
tiny
that. Oh,
figures.
yeah. You know,
That'd be
you see
very
Universal
small.
Soldier?
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, you know, going back real quick to that scene when you were talking about the blood trail through the, that reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street when dragging them through the school scene.
That is the scene. That's the scene. When I saw that when I was 8, that was the scene that kept me up at night. And it was it was when she sees Tina like in the body bag at the door, right? And then she goes out, and then she sees Tina being dragged by, you know, Freddy, but an invisible force, right? And I remember that night I was in bed, like almost crying, and my mum comes in and she's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Mum, that film really scared me." And she goes, "Well, you shouldn't have watched it then." And I'm like, "Nah, but it was so awesome." Like,
it's the thing. Like, so Adam's like the classic horror fan. I'm not. Like like I said earlier, I'm more into kind of the thrillers and stuff. So there's a lot of the classic things I'm sorry to say on a horror podcast I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And the only Freddy one I'm really sorry to say that I've seen is the remake. And it was bad. Yeah, so
I was sorry.
Well, hold on. The thing about the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street is I loved the darkness of that movie. I love the darkness, the way they filmed it, the atmosphere.
I think the cinematography is great, but like the actual story and stuff is not great. There's a few problems I have with it, but I don't want to say them in case they're the same problems as the original, and then I sound like blasphemy. But there's a lot of stuff that, like, pretty much 90% of Adam's covered in horror tattoos.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, Freddy.
He's got one in him too.
Where's the other one?
I haven't seen any of these films because I wasn't versed in that type of stuff. So it's funny when people are like, "Oh, I love this bit. It's a reference to that film. It's a reference to that film." And I'm the director of this film going, "Was it?" you sly son of a bitch, Adam.
It's really bad if you got a tattoo of the Blob, though.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be much, would it?
It'd be a blob.
Well, maybe that. Like,
it'd be like, "Oh, that's a nice hockey puck." Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, that's funny you're talking about that because you said you were how old when you seen that? Like 8, you said?
I was 8, yeah, man.
8, yeah. Right. Well, like I have 2 little boys, and you know, they're in love with horror. It's crazy. I got video. I showed him my oldest. He's 7 now, but when he was like 5 or 4. I got video of him running around the house mad at me, whining, and I'm like, "Why are you crying?" He's like, "You won't let me watch Michael Myers."
Yeah. Dude, he's me. He is me.
My kid is a bigger horror fan than I am.
Or what?
Yeah.
We spoke about this the other night, and one of the podcasters asked me what my first horror film that I ended up watching. And I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I was staying at my uncle's house. So I used to go there to do mountain biking, and they had 2 dogs. I'm a big dog lover. And they were like, I used to stay on the front room floor with a blow-up bed with a sleeping bag, and the 2 dogs used to sleep by my feet. And before they went up, they always used to go, "Oh, do you want to put on something on telly just to get you to sleep?" And they used to put things on. And one time I was there, just sort of the 2 dogs were sort of napping away at my feet. And then they were like, "Oh, what do you want to put on?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." So they started flicking through, and they flicked through and saw this clown and went, "Oh, there's a clown here. It's going to be funny." And it was the original It on Channel 4 in the UK. And I went, "Oh, yeah, I like clowns. They're funny." And they went, "Cool, here you go, Neil." Click the channel, passed me the remote, put it on the side, and I just sort of sat there with like 2 Yorkshire Terrier dogs going.
My 10-year-old kid is the biggest horror buff.
Oh my God.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, you know, for me, like Phantasm, this movie right here. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I haven't.
My dad rented it for me when I was about 10, probably.
It's old. It came out in like 70,
76, wasn't it?
Something,
No.
77, somewhere in
right.
there.
76, 77, yeah.
But, you know, that movie, the soundtrack is just so awesome. And
God damn, I'm old.
it gets, yeah, you old as shit. But, you know, that was the first one I watched because my mom liked it. And it wasn't too bad, you know, on things. But the second horror movie I ever watched was Night of the Demons.
Oh, man.
I've seen it.
Second movie.
That was from 1988.
And that movie still holds up to this day, too, by the way.
Yeah.
That
You remember,
lipstick
like-
scene. And
Oh, dude. You remember that? I remember my dad rented me around the same time as well when I started getting into it. He rented me, do you remember the Wishmaster films?
Oh, hell yeah.
And then there was another film,
You
like,
can't remember
that
the
really...
hook?
Yeah, it was the guy with the hook, the bees and stuff. But
Candyman.
there was one that he rented me that, I mean, if I watched it now, I only saw it once, and most of the time I would watch all these films again and again and again. But there was one that I only saw once, and it was so weird. Did you ever see Sometimes They Come Back? Do you remember
Yes. I just watched that movie, and not joking, probably 3-4 weeks ago.
I need to watch it again because I just remember watching it and thinking, this is fucking weird. And I love
I got you. With the 57 Chevy, freaking...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a great film. You know, it's so funny because I talk about you talk about your childhood growing up, and you're like, yeah, you know, I used to do this and that. I'm like, yeah, I grew up watching, you know, freaking Demons and
it was the happiest time of our lives, right?
And that's my point. Like,
and then 2020 happened.
Has anyone seen?
We all went.
Has anyone another one I watched as a kid, and I watched this on repeat because I thought it was hilarious. Was Alligator. That was the one I saw.
Alligator, yeah.
It's this alligator, and it just goes out onto the street and eats a whole wedding. It's amazing.
It's actually. I'm glad you kind of brought that up because I was going to say this earlier. It's awesome that you guys made this movie and it's coming out now because, and I don't know about in the UK, but in the US, man, we need some good horror. Like, you know what I mean?
Thank you for that, man.
I'm 100% and trust me.
I think I can speak for the guys when we say this. Is like we made this film on the premise of the guys being first-time directors wanted to make something to make them.
You froze up.
A film where they have no restrictions. Well, not no restrictions, but restrictions, but to make something they want to make. And the guys wanted to make this film to sort of just prove their own right. And no offense, they fucking smashed that out of the park, man. Like,
oh yeah,
we've done that and then some. Like the budget has been already got back, and people have paid the investors. Everything's so above board. And exactly, and to do that, like you say, it's like they've been able to do that and put out exactly what is required.
But we couldn't have done that without everyone involved, and that includes you too, and the rest of the cast. You know, it's 100%. Just the team in this was just, and we touched on it earlier, man. It like everyone involved was just like me and Rich may have concepted and wrote it, and you know, and directed and whatever, but if it wasn't for you, for the cast and the score and makeup and everyone, man, like this film would not be what it was. And the way that we were so, like, none of us apart from Neal, but we hadn't met Sam, you know, until the day she rocked up on set. Yeah. And not only did she completely smash it out of the park, because she'd learned 20 pages of script in 24 hours.
Yeah, oh man,
that's crazy.
But also, we after the first day, all of us were best friends. And for those 2 weeks or 10 days we were shooting, whatever it was like
it's like a holiday,
bunch of friends together having fun and making something super fun.
It was like spring break, but with like creativity involved, like
and blood.
Yeah, blood.
Now, Neal, I know you and Sam did the other movie together. Did you set her up with this, or?
Right. So, Sam, if you want to tell the story, I don't mind.
I'll just do the intro to it, basically. So, like, with hosts, I mean, I'm ridiculously lucky to have got in on this, but there was somebody.
Nah, you weren't. You deserved it and earned it. You massively did.
Anyway, there was someone else cast, and for a few different factors, it didn't work out, and we were due to start filming the Monday night.
She wanted a villa.
Yeah, she's kicking herself now. She's like, guys, I can't stay in the caravans with you, like, an hour away from set.
Like no audition anyway.
Yeah, me and Adam were rooting for Sam. Going, no, she's the best. Everyone else went with the other.
Yeah, we get it. I'm the bad guy.
No, but we did, and it's like that's the factor. It's like
I'm not saying that. I just for whatever reasons, it didn't work out with the other girl. So it was I think it was Saturday night or the Sunday morning. I got the call saying like, "Oh, can you come do this film after all?" And I'd heard about it a couple of weeks before. I'd seen like one scene from it, like as a snippet, like a sample.
The concept trailer.
I believe in honesty here, so we can. I'm going to tell you how it really was.
Was there a hammer involved in this whole situation?
So basically, I got this, and I had about a day's notice to come and shoot this thing, and I was like, I knew Neal, And like we'd known each other for a while. We never actually done like proper acting work together.
I was saying this to Rich earlier tonight, actually, that knowing Sam, I knew Sam through a producer friend of mine, April Kelly, who's absolutely making waves at the moment in the British film industry, and she's in a way she's known as my sister to me, and we're brother and sister. We call each other. And I'd met Sam through an industry night through that, and then met Sam a couple of times after that. And it was actually the night I was talking to a casting director in England, just generally about stuff, and she's like, "How you doing, Neal?" and blah blah blah. And Sam was there for April's night for her film, and then I introduced her to this casting director, and I just spent about 5-10 minutes just sort of listening to what Sam was saying to the casting director, and just actually going, do you know what? Like just watching her face shape and her mannerisms and everything, going, you'd be really, really good for this film that my boys, my brothers are trying to put together. So I mentioned it to her and said, "Oh, yeah, Sam, I'm going to pass you on to the guys because I think you'd be really good." And she was like, "Oh, cool, man. Thanks very much," and all that kind of nonsense that happens in the film industry, like networking parties and all that kind of crap. And so I said to the guys, "Look, I've my friend Sam. She'd be great." So the guys looked at her stuff, and like I know for a fact that they were kind of like, "Yeah, she's really, really good." Self-tape, all that kind of nonsense, wasn't it? And you did that. And I remember being like to Sam, going, "Sam, like, they're looking for this, they're looking for this, they're looking for that. You got to do this like that and do this like that. If you want that part, go for it." And then she was like, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks very much." Yeah. So she went in with a little prior knowledge.
Like, I didn't know any of the script. It was like, "Please do this one like normal, and then this one as if you're possessed." But not that.
Pretty much. That's what it was.
So, yeah, the casting we did, we basically sent two
How can you be a little bit possessed?
Two bits of script. One was fully possessed. One was lovey-dovey at the beginning to see if they can do.
Hey, that sounds like a marriage.
Yeah.
Sounds like a marriage.
And then that's kind of what we sent out. But like, bless her, Sam turned up on set. She got offered the part the day before, and yeah, because of the way, it was a very, 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 very tight shooting schedule. We had 10 days to shoot. Well, we actually had 8, but we ended up booking 2 more, and everyone was amazing and decided that's okay to carry on. So we initially had 8 days to shoot the film. And
that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys did awesome with this. So 8 days.
We did 20. We had 20 pages of script on the first day, and 20 pages of script on the second day. So that was 40 pages in 2 days that we covered. And Sam learnt it in a day. And
I learned my script the day before anyway.
That's crazy.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I mean, and
blew it out of the park.
It's the way that you guys were on screen too just shows that how good you are, because you know.
Do you know what? It's like from knowing just Sam as a friend through a friend of mine who I say April, the producer. She's a very, very good friend of mine, and knowing Sam through like a couple of meetings, there's just something. I have this thing, and I'm sure Rich and Adam will back this up. I have like not a sixth sense, but I have like a quality control, and I'm like, yeah, you'd be fucking brilliant for that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, and I pass it on. There's no "I told you so" anywhere.
He's got a thing. He's very humble with it, of never saying "I told you so." But the amount of times he could have said that to us, it's ridiculous.
But I care about the shit I'm involved with. So if I think there's something that someone can be better with, and I remember when they decided to go with the person that wasn't Sam, and I went, no, this is going to cause you problems. She's either going to go, I need a fucking caviar every morning or something. And the next minute I get a phone call from the producer.
She wants a villa!
She wants a villa and she wants a hotel room. And is there any chance, your friend Sam that was like this pretty much neck and neck choice that we wanted to go with, can you get her on the phone, and do you think she'd like come at really short notice? And I'm like, don't worry, boys. I fucking love you. I'm sure Sam would love to. And I did. No, don't thank me at all. You did it yourself. You've got that talent, and it's there to be exploited.
I mean, this bitch Craig.
But to answer the guy's question earlier, the question was, did you do that with the war film thing? Nah, me and Richard obviously worked with her on hosts, and I mean, no offense, like she absolutely completely steals pretty much the whole film, and that's through nothing but hard work and dedication with it. But the other film, the war film that you were I'm guessing you were
what
on
was
about.
that, the Eastern Front?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell this story as it is because it's probably gonna poop his pants. But there was someone that did the role and I wasn't happy with it. It was shite, and I went, nah, I've got someone that I want to work with because I.
But you'd already been on this for like 6 weeks already, hadn't you? Like,
yeah, I just went. This person doesn't fit for what I want to do. Me being a diva went. Nah, it's gonna let your film down, bro.
That's
so
funny.
get
That's
this person in that I know can nail shit, man. Like. And we got
use
Sam
that pressure,
again.
mate. Can't use that.
Hey, Sam. Hey, there's a film going on. Probably not much pay because no one got paid anything on it. But do you want to come along to this film called No Points, No Returns?
This can be a problem. This can be a problem at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Trust me, I know.
We're all good.
It's a good problem, though.
This is a problem every episode.
So where were we at?
There we go.
Intro credits we got to, didn't we?
But no, I want to kind of talk real quick about what I was going to say because I told them I was like, I'm glad that they made this movie and stuff, and it's coming out in the U.S. because we need good horror right now.
We do.
And
I did have a point on that actually. So let's
cool.
say
Go
what
ahead.
you said, and then I'll follow you.
Okay, well, because like James Wan, of course, in the last couple of years has fucking blessed us with so much good horror movies that it's ridiculous. And, being filming it and stuff, he's got a really cool way that he does his scares and things like that. He does false fake scares and he does this he's got like a mathematic way of doing things. Yeah. But, he, in the U.S., everything's shut down now. So we've been missing that good horror and stuff. And I was ecstatic when he's like, hey, they sent us a copy. I'm like, fucking right. So and we watched it the next day, and I was like, "Yeah, man, this is freaking awesome." I like the build up on
the
things,
feel of the whole movie,
the atmosphere,
really cool feel to it.
Thank you. We were so glad you enjoyed it, man. That's really nice.
Man.
It's awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about your.
He wants to make a point.
Let me just make one point on that. Like, I'm not a fan of praising it like my own stuff because I don't like. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems I personally have with the film, and every director has with their own film and stuff. But just to quote an American director friend of ours who did One Must Fall. I don't know if you've seen that.
I'll check it out. I haven't seen it.
It's a film called One Must Fall, and it's an amazing film. And he's an awesome guy, nicest guy, Antonio. And he said a point to me, and I was like, "Do you know what? Like, I get that, and I think that's where we might fit. Like, there's a slot there where I think we might fit." He said, "There's two types of horror in America. There's your PG-13 horrors that have kind of a good story. They're really well made but they're designed to reach a massive audience.
Right.
And then you have your gore porn, which has no story. They're just trying to show as much violence as possible."
Right.
And he said the horror community get a bit frustrated because they want the gore, but they feel like they're being let down on the story and stuff. And he said, you seem to have merged the two into something that I've not seen before, he said. And I was like, that's a really lovely thing to say, and that's awesome to hear. And I don't know if that's you that true with you guys or not. I don't know.
You went fuck what everyone wants or thinks they need because you're just feeding them shit that they don't need, and then you've come in with something original to a point. And brought something fresh and new and innovative with something that, again, is people are describing some of the scenes in our films as the most memorable things they've ever watched in cinema history for horror. And that's you take that as a
some of the reviews are just knocked us sideways. We're like,
started
what
going,
is going
I'm
on
happy with
here?
The Nun and The Conjuring and all this repetitive money-making corporate bullshit. No, get Adam and Rich to write you a script and fucking shoot it.
Just put a censored sign like over the mouth. Just
No, he's fine.
These guys are metalheads and whiskey drinkers, bro. Fucking
we're probably one of the more foul-mouthed podcasts out there.
No, but my point is this is what people have been waiting for. The more shit you get fed and you're craving for something, when something comes along, and no offense, the guys did this on minimal. We make this for this and do this for that, and for what they've delivered. And no offense, we've even talked about Dark Sky is like a big distribution company for for horror, man. And these boys managed to attain that through their writing and talent and shooting of a film to get their attention. And no offense, they haven't even spoke about who else spoke to them about.
That's kind of what we were talking about earlier with you guys when we said that, you know, this is a big thing for us because it's a big thing for you guys. You know, Dark Skies, you know, being with
on
them.
Chronicles is a big thing for them.
No, but it will be from now on, bro. I'll come on your show anytime you fucking want.
Well, see that. Well, that's what I'm saying is like, for you guys, whenever you got a hold of us and we're like, oh, it's cool, that's awesome. We've been wanting to talk to like, you know, directors or actors or producers or whatever, because that's kind of the stuff that we really like. We love horror movies and watching them, but we like talking to people and figure out what made them tick, why they did it.
Stuff behind the scare.
You need to get in the skin, right?
Exactly. You know, get in the mindset. And
you sound like Lucy.
Yeah. Lucy.
So I kind of want to touch on. We had talked.
No. You can't. I told you you can't be touching.
Okay, maybe later. But we had kind of talked about your shooting schedule earlier. You said you had shot this movie in 8 days
initially, and then it got extended.
And you did all this at night?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, yes. Sometimes, you know, it started getting light, so we'd have to board up the house and continue going.
I got you.
Yes, it was through the nights. Yes,
we were all bad.
Whatever the art requires.
Yeah. Okay.
What time of the year did you guys film this? You were talking about
April.
It's cold.
May. It was April. May.
April, May.
Okay. So the night.
We planned
spring.
We planned to shoot it in January, but it got delayed. So we planned to shoot it and have these nice long nights. And because it got delayed, we ended up shooting it in May. And we realized, actually, these nights are a bit shorter than we'd planned for.
Yeah.
So the sound guy's there at 4 a.m. going, this is great, but the bird song is kind of killing the vibe. Do you know what I mean? And the lights shining through the windows. And we're like, so we had in the dining room, we had tin foil sellotape to all the windows to block the lights, and then the curtains drawn so you can't see the tin foil.
Oh, I see that shit all the time around here. You're good.
It was definitely a challenge, wasn't it? It was a challenge.
Man. Yeah. But that was all part of it, and I do think that there was an element of, not that these guys aren't incredible actors and stuff, but the fact of how grueling it was and how little sleep we had. I think we were on 4 hours sleep a night for 2 weeks.
Yeah. It made being a
2 hours sleep time.
I think it really helped bringing out those emotions and bringing out that vibe for like just putting under stress. But everyone had a great time. But it was stress. It wasn't like Disneyland. It was stressful.
Right.
It was super hard. Like you watch the behind the scenes, and my face just suddenly, like over the time of the behind the scenes, just gets more just red and patchy and just disgusting. And I'm like,
but they started off with the start of the film and the first day, and then the second day, and then the third day. But yeah, everyone goes into the film fresh faced, like, nice to meet you, pleasure, thank you, like this is great, blah blah blah. And then that's the first day, and you've done 14 hours from waking up to going to sleep, and then you go to the next day, and then you're like, oh hey, how you doing? Everyone's like, yeah, I'm good. And it's about the third day, like you say, that everyone starts to get into delirium.
Yeah.
And then you start talking to Rich and Adam, and then you've got to the third day, and then Adam was like, so yeah, Neal, we're going to this scene now. Like, this is what we need. Are you going to do this? And there's that. You understand with that? Yes, Adam, that's cool. Yeah. Cool.
And then you get to
the
man. Day and you're like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, no.
I think
the actors like draw to Adam and Rich to go, so what's happening today? Like, shit, what's going on? And then we're all in that. Is that day 3 balls deep into like 12-hour days or whatever?
It became like almost hallucinogenic. It felt like a bad dream where everything was kind of warpy and.
You're talking to me.
and there was a couple of times. There's a couple of times I was just so tired, I was kind of just staring off into space, and people come up and go, Rich, what are we doing? And I'm like,
yeah.
And I remember the producer, Gillen, he came up to me and he was like, dude, like, we need to get your buzz because you're just like zoning out here, man. And I'm like, Yeah, man. I don't know how to get this excitement back because I'm pretty tired.
But this is what we're talking about. Is everyone's putting that whole in on this, and it was a short shoot, so we understand when if I went to Rich and go, oh, bro, like with this scene, what's going on with that, and he just looks at me with a blank face and goes, who are you?
What I did, I had a special technique, and it sounds really bad, but it does help for me. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not a like a sales pitch here or anything. But in the garden outside the house, I hid a little bottle of whiskey behind the tree, and that tended to perk me up enough to kind of get me back in the game.
Yeah, good little shot.
At the minute.
I'll just run out. If I'm feeling a bit zoned out, run out, have a swig, come back in, I'm like, oh, right.
It'll warm you up, too.
Warm the cockles.
Yeah, warm you up a little bit when it's cold out there.
Yeah. Tennessee sour mash shit.
We initially did the 10-day shoot in May, and then we had to do some outdoor shots which were gonna be in October, which would have been 2019, so last October. They had to get postponed because of like rain and like mud and everything, so we ended up doing them in January. So January here is kind of really cold.
It was the coldest day of the year, I remember.
Yeah, the temperature.
You did a great job hiding
by about
the
15 degrees that night. I think everybody had like icicles hanging out of their nostrils.
And your costume, Sam, was about a millimeter thin. It was just nothing.
Yeah, we had to spray my dress with the fake blood again for continuity for Lucy, and it was on the side of the van because we were out in the middle of the woods, and it froze to the side of the van.
And then you had to put it on.
Yeah, then I had to go and peel it off the side of the van, and like the chef, Jason, he's absolutely lovely. He said, Sam, I can just put it near the oven for a while if you want. And I was like, if this goes up in flames. And he said, Sam, if it goes up in flames, I will pack up and leave before you can even run. And I'm like, okay then, please defrost my dress.
But this was like on this whole like night shoot in the middle of the woods on this cold night. It's like I was there. I'd done my scenes with Santa Claus in the middle of in the middle of the field the day before.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to come back and help out you guys because like you're going to need it in the woods.
Yeah, so I came back on the last 2 days.
I was a runner, like from start of the thing with Sam to runner and Nadia for Lauren. I was her coat holder. For the whole weekend, I felt like fucking Christian Bale, and then I went to fucking Christmas fucking bale of hay to fucking
Christopher Jones.
And it's like Lauren. I went.
And also, like, because he was the so he was, what is he, the second CA? What was he?
AC.
Or like, so he was also played one of the scary characters that's sort of lurking in the bushes. Now Sean's like 6'4" or something, and like when he was on set, I was like, I'll be here for you. I'll hold a blanket for you. And then he's just in a little t-shirt, and he comes back, and I'm like, trying to throw it over. That'll do.
The problem was that we had my AC that was on the camera play one of the people outside, the guy in the bush with the bald head with the big beard. Yeah. That was the camera op. Like that's the kind of level we're dealing with. Do you know what I mean? And he's the guy in the bush out the window when Lauren looks outside.
Yeah. And you see the group out there.
Yeah. No, but like when she looks out the window, when she's on the phone,
in the bush that we were talking about.
We were so close. Though I don't think I remember now. We didn't get him naked, but we did try.
He would do anyway. He would have done it for the best.
Initially, the idea was that they were all going to be naked, but it turns out that the two older couple that were out the window was my wife's parents, and I was like, I just can't ask the in-laws to lose the kit. You know what I mean?
Take it all off.
Nice.
Nothing better than seeing your in-laws naked.
No.
But wait. Let's try and get through this film because we've got about halfway and we're.
We're 4 hours into the interview.
Well,
we're way off.
It's getting late for you guys too.
We don't care, man.
We're good, but it would be good to not for the listeners to get halfway through the film and then we just verge and then the podcast ends.
Well, to be honest with you guys, I don't want them to hear the whole thing if they need to watch it.
Well, we're gonna edit some of the spoilers out and stuff.
Okay, cool.
But can you keep in the part where there's a sequel where Lucy gets a horse? Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Still haven't heard my exclusive. My PRs told me.
One of the scenes that really creeped me out was Jack underneath Lauren's bed.
Good, man. That was
so freaking cool the way you guys pulled that off because he just disappears out of the doorway.
That was really exciting to write that one. That was really scary. Like when we came up with that, it was super scary and it does exactly, to me anyway, watching it back, it does exactly to me what a lot of people are saying that it's done to them. Like it's just odd. It's odd, and we love odd. We love odd.
It's very unnerving and disturbing.
Yeah,
there was a lot of debate on how that can be done because when you write a script, you're like, this happens, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but actually shooting it to have the same effect as what's written on the page is quite a tough thing. Yeah. And we came through, we discussed a lot of things, Adam, didn't we, about angles, where the angles should look from, and whether, even on the set, we shot 2 different ways of revealing that, and one was to pan down from Lauren to under the bed, which was a slow reveal, and that was kind of my call, and I was like, I quite like that because we had a jib in there. And then Adam was like, I think it should be a cut, and I was like, I really like the pan down, man. I think that's the way to go. And Adam was like, it needs to be a cut. And then I was in the edit, and I was like, I tried them both, and I'm like, it's so a cut. It's got to be a cut.
Yeah, he was right on that. So
Adam nailed that totally.
Right.
Yeah, that was perfect. That scene was very creepy.
Yeah, and it took me when she first got the phone call and was talking, it took me just in my horror mind, the way I look at horror movies, I was like, that's not him on the phone. I was like, there's got to be somebody else on the phone. And then it showed him.
No, that was Adam on the phone.
I was like, something's going on there. And then it showed him gone, and I'm like, oh, it's him for sure. And then bam, show him under the bed. And it was really cool at the end of the conversation when he yelled up. You know what I'm saying? Yelled up at him. It was just killer scene.
That was the voice. There's another tidbit. We're just giving you all the information that we shouldn't be giving, but we've had a few cans, so you're getting all the scoops now.
Exclusives
but that voice, the last now, is actually the composer's voice. He can do this kind of Gregorian chant thing where he just gets to such lows and it just resonates. And you'll see in the behind the scenes, if you watch it, that after all that, we got the composer to go under the bed and record his voice saying that note. And I think everyone in the cast and crew had a go at saying it to see who had the lowest kind of deepest. And then Ben just steps up and just destroys everyone. It was like...
For the purpose of my fans, it was all me.
It was me. It was me.
If you've
trying to get an agent in America now. Come on.
Yeah, well, Ben's already got it.
Yeah, Ben's took it, stole it. He deserves it. Full on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the attic for a little bit.
Yeah.
And how powerful that scene was to have Lauren up there with Eric, and have her with the shotgun and the having to get that in her own mind that she's going to have to kill her own brother to try and save herself.
Well, and save him from torture, basically.
Right. That's it, and that's what makes it really sad. I think I get upset watching it back. It's really
it's a tough scene. It is.
Yeah, it's a tough. To be honest, it's one I've said it a few times in the last few days. Actually, it probably is my favorite scene, or it's my top 3 favorite scenes. 100% is that, and it's again props to Nadia and Lee for the way they they did that and they bounced off each other so well, but that it's so sad because there's no other choice, but he doesn't get it.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. Right. Well, and you know what it reminds me of? This is a compliment to the movie. You know, it reminds me of, have you seen The Mist?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well,
I showed that to my 10-year-old the other day, and that was a mistake. He's a horror buff, and he said, "Why did you show me that film?"
Well, you know, that scene when they're in the car.
The original
and he's shoot his son.
Oh, man.
I have two boys. Like,
yep.
You know, okay, so we went and watched the new It in theaters. Okay, which is good. But the scene with Georgie, when Georgie gets his arm bit off, you know,
brutal, isn't it?
my son was that kid's age at the time, and it was my first kid. It was my first son, you know, and I'm a horror movie buff. Don't get me wrong, I love them. But like, when that happened, I looked over at JT. I'm like, don't know how I feel about that. You know, but back to the movie, you know, that scene kind of reminded me of that scene in The Mist when he's getting ready to have to shoot his son.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a tough scene to watch.
It's the most horrendous thing.
Horrible to watch. It's not tough. It's
but at that point, you have no choice. This is the only alleyway to go down, and everything else is, you know, bricked up. You know, like. And
Sam, that scene of you over her head.
Oh yeah,
like
dribble,
with the big old drool coming out.
Oh, we got like the first take that Sam did of the dribble was fine, but
perfect.
We kind of wanted to torture Nadia a bit, so we did about 6 takes.
Nadia is a good friend of all of ours.
Nadia is like one of our best mates, but she's kind of the butt of all jokes in that kind of way. So that scene was actually only written in for mine and Adam's pleasure of just winding her up. And so we were like, I remember me and Adam, we walked up and we were like, "So you read the new script? You read the latest one?" She was like, "Yeah." And we were like, "Any issues?" And she was like, "No, it's all good." And we were like, "Sure, have you read this scene?" And she's like, yeah, it's all good. And then we were like, we haven't got to her yet. So like, when we did that scene, like Sam nailed it the first time, we were like, I think we need another one. And we just kept going. And if you see like the side shot, her head is completely drenched. And it's because we've done about 10 takes before that one.
And Sam did such a good job of just creating this saliva from her mouth, like just going... There was no special effects involved.
Sam, which was not many people know this, but Sam's got overactive saliva glands. She wanders around set just dribbling everywhere, and like she's under control. But.
You guys didn't bother telling Nadia that you used the first take, right?
At the time, I don't.
She knows now.
But like so I had this sugar syrup solution stuff in
No, you had saliva from your own mouth.
Don't ruin the illusion. It's magic. It's magic.
We've already mentioned it.
It's movie magic.
I don't want to tell you what I thought it looked like, is all I'm saying.
It's kind of gross, guys.
Keep your mind to yourself, buddy.
You're not wrong.
I need a wee again. This beer is going through.
And it's full of spiders and cobwebs. And I'm like, I'm the stickiest I have ever been. And they're like, Sam, can you move back a bit? And I'm like, no, really can't.
But, along with that scene is the aftermath of that scene, the repercussions of that gun not going off.
Horrible, isn't it?
Horrible, right?
Oh, it's like you can't even fathom what's going on in your head. You know,
the way Nadia
somebody to point a gun in your face and pull a trigger and it not go off.
Like someone be your sister.
It's all about like it's that build up and then it's click. But the worst thing, the thing that does it for me and that makes me kind of well up is the way Nadia reacts and that scream of like relief. But it's that.
No, the way that scream from her and like you say it's just fully massively backed up by Lee's I'm here with you and fucking everything. Like, was back with this like shut up you weasel, like you're just like and you go, but that's the weasel going, shit, my sister's just tried to shoot me.
Yeah, and they're both legit.
And there's a reason there, but it's like, I would never shoot my sister, but him as a brother sitting there going, please don't, please don't, please don't, and she does, and he's like, everything. And it's so fucking powerful, man.
And there's the punch to the face afterwards.
Oh man, so powerful.
One of my favourite bits, that punch.
The fun thing about that, it did take a couple of takes, but like the shake on the camera, like we had to time it right. So when Sam punched, I actually punched the camera at the same time to get that kind of shake.
To get
And that was good fun.
It took them so many takes because I'm really, really shit at punching.
And so am I, so I kept missing the camera and punching Neal in the face.
Every single
I mean, it could have been an elbow. It could be a fish, didn't
It's
it?
okay. You were good. You were good with the gun butt to the face. That was really good. And evidently, you're pretty good with the hammer.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Those, if we were, going with like Pokemon skills, that would be my top.
So bludgeoning of any kind, do you know what I mean?
General bludgeoning or maiming.
Yeah, because hell, she ends up.
But you know what? Like that scene in the attic. Like we've got to take our hats off to Nadia and Lee for that.
I'll take that.
We've got to take our hats off for that. Lee, bless him. That whole scene was like it's intense for both of those actors.
Yeah.
And me and Sam we were present for the whole of the shooting of that. We were either down the bottom of the attic or close in with the guys. And take after take after take, and the heightened intensity from Lee and from Nadia as actors was just incredible to watch. Like me and Sam get some incredible scenes, but what they did for that scene, because that scene is instrumental to the family dynamic with what's going on with us and me and Sam. They absolutely nailed it, take after take, and there was an element of shit, we're just making Lee just get the shit thrown on him, but he delivered every single time those takes rolled. And
there's a funny
he
story.
looks at one point like his eyes can't open any further because of how much he's been crying. And that's purely
a funny
because
story with Lee. And it's like, I don't know how much could be said, but after a few beers, I guess you can. But but he probably had the worst time due to the things that had to happen with him. Like,
he had it bad.
Being raised into the attic was a lot harder than I guess it looked. We had Adam on one leg in the attic and our other producer, Craig, on the other leg, having to lift him time and time again. And Craig, bless him, was having a hard time, and he was sweating so much it was raining out of the attic. Lifting Lee up. And he got brutalized, and then is in the attic. He had to cry, bear all of his emotions. He had to bear all of his emotions on the other side of the door to the attic, and he was just late nights, completely brutalized. And I remember when we hired him, and I said, the only thing I said to him was, "Are you okay with the kissing scene?" He was like, "What? Yeah, man. I'm okay with that. As long as it's." Yeah, it's fine. It's with a girl, yeah? And I'm like, yeah, no, man, it's with a girl. And he was like, cool, man. And then that kissing scene got removed from the actual film, and he never got, and he was like, so I've been brutalized every day, had to do all this stuff, and then the one thing that might have been quite fun, you've literally removed from the scene and replaced with getting spat on with blood.
Dropped out of
cool, man.
Attic.
That was my silver lining.
But he nailed everything he was required to do still.
He just felt abused, and he even says in the behind the scenes, he's like, I'm just abused, man.
But he did, like we say, he delivered everything.
He absolutely nailed every
single
part. He nails Eric.
He's the most annoying piece of shit character from a sibling that you can look at going, that's my annoying brother. Really, that's my annoying sister. Or do you know what I mean? From vice versa.
That was the aim, and he pulled it off so well.
So well, man. The guy's done really, really well with that. Ridiculous.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to have to spit on him.
So the other thing, hallway was a pretty prominent thing in the, well, you guys call it a corridor. Was a pretty prominent thing in the movie. Was there a reason behind that?
Probably because of The Shining.
See, and that's what I had in my head.
And you said you don't like horror movies.
No, I like them, but I'm more into the slow burn kind of stuff.
Because of some of those long shots that you were doing were very reminiscent of that.
And that's why we put the wallpaper up as well, to give more of a vibe of that. Like having a film where it's just, did you call it Magnolia in America?
What's Tom Cruise
color, like just like white, like cream paint that you get on
Okay.
Magnolia white.
The whole house was that, and we were like, "This looks shit on camera."
Right.
Like, how do we make this look better? And then
you needed some depth.
We needed just something that looked cinematic. And me and Adam, we shot a music video that Adam directed for his band a little while back, and it was actually a little homage to. I'll let Adam talk about it actually.
A few years back, so we did a video for one of my songs, and it's called Bad Girl, and it's basically a homage to The Exorcist, which is my favorite film.
Nice.
And that's kind of what the song's about as well, to be fair. So I remember finding this killer wallpaper for it, and me and Rich, we basically built this little corridor in my band's manager's living room at his, and shot some of the half of the performance part of the video in this corridor, which to this day is still one of the best music videos, like not in terms of like fuck the music, I mean just in terms of like how
you shot it.
How we shot it and what we done, how we built it. It was so fun. It was just wicked. It was just so good to be able to do that. And it came to getting the props and stuff, like prop shopping for hosts, a few years later. And I remember I was at the B&Q or the hardware store, right, that you guys call it. I was looking for wallpaper because me and Rich spent a solid 2 months just gradually turning his house into the set of hosts, right? And one of the last things we needed to do, apart from carpet, was wallpaper. So I was in the shop and I was walking around and looking at all these different wallpapers, and I found one that was quite nice. And then I found the one from the Bad Girl video. They still had it there. And it was twice the price of this kind of average one I had, right? And, we didn't have much money. And I called Rich and I said, dude, which one? And he was like, oh, they've got the Bad Girl wallpaper. And I was like, yeah, so we're going to get that, yeah? And he goes, yeah.
And then the producer rings us up and is no, down the phone, and we're like, yeah.
That means Yasis gets paid less.
A couple of weeks ago, Adam sent like a photo to our group chat.
Oh yeah, so where I live, there's like a barber's opposite, because I live on Main Street and I live above shops, right? So there's a barber's and they've got the same wallpaper in there.
Fuck off, no.
I'll send you the picture.
Really? Oh mate,
that's awesome, man.
You don't want anyone to go into the camera. You know what's going to happen.
Or scissors.
But that was an interesting, the corridor scene with the dragging, the hair drag, and that was something we'd envisioned from the get-go. And we actually, I'd love to share it with you actually. We did a concept trailer about
6 months
before we shot the film.
Yeah.
And it was with the old look of the house with the magnolia and everything.
Right.
But it was just an idea to try and pitch to investors to see if we could get some money to make the film, because we don't have any money to make the film.
Right.
And even in that, we had the drag scene. We were like, this is adamantly, we need to have that drag scene. It has to be by the hair, and kind of to figure that out. And I remember something changed a little bit when we realized with the whole script and stuff that she was still in a chair And so we were shooting another scene, and the composer's out the back. And I didn't realize this till I saw the behind the scenes. The composer's out the back in the garden taking apart a skateboard that he found in my garage to try and put wheels on the base of this chair. And I remember coming out and going, "That's really good, man, but I've got a feeling this isn't going to work. Like, that looks like it's going to break." And everyone was like, "No, it's fine, it's fine." And there's a couple of points in the behind the scenes where I'm kind of like, "That's not going to work, that's going to break." And like, as soon as we call like action, it just breaks. Yeah. And,
but also, I had Nadia's hair, like her actual hair, combed up towards my hand. And because obviously I'm not dragging her hair, obviously for the people, everyone is going to know I'm not dragging her hair. I'm not a knob. But we've got what is it?
So for that, like the harness that Sam wore in the hanging, obviously to make it safe, she's wearing a harness.
It's a builder's hanging.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same harness we used for the hair. So she's wearing a full body harness with the rope going up inside her hair,
pulling her from middle.
There's no tension in her hair.
And I've got her hair wrapped round my hand.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but the wheels just snapped instantly off the chair.
The chair being there, so it's like, so the end thing you see is me with her hair wrapped around my hand, loose enough where we're there going, "Is that all right, Nadia? Is that fine? Is that okay?" Yeah, Neal. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
She's the poshest person you'll ever hear.
The poshest person you'll ever get. And I'm from the shittest place of England ever. Is that okay? Are you okay? Are you fine? Is that all right? Yeah. That's fine. Cool. So we've got the thing wrapped around, and it's all safe, and everyone's checked it. Producers, first ADs, directors, and everything doing the job, and I have to drag her down that alleyway, and what you see in the corridor is it's a rope with a very good wrapped piece of hair to make it look like it's me going bram, 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 pulling her through it. And well, you see the results. It's the cover of the film.
It looks
her face. That shot is the cover of the film.
Yeah, and we didn't retake that photo. That's her actual expression that just captured a moment of terror that
she's a genius.
We've never seen again. And we were like, Adam, we would design the cover, and we initially designed the cover.
Me and Lucy on them.
Sam, we did green screen. Let's get them in there. And then Adam was like,
"Nope.
I'm kind of feeling just this still from the film of Nadia screaming." And I was like, "Do you know what? I'm getting that." So I kind of pulled it up and I blew it up to like just her face. And I was like, I'm surprised that's still holding up, because it's a still from a film. And it's not retaken. That's actually from the film. Yeah. And then kind of adjusted the background to kind of add that iconic wallpaper in and stuff. But it's just amazing, just that capture. And a few people have said, that actress, not even seeing the film, just seeing the poster and going, that actress has managed to capture pure terror in that frame.
Yeah. It's so ambiguous. You don't know from that picture of Nadia's face with the blood. People go, "Oh shit, host, what is this?"
I mean, she could have just been really scared of half skateboards.
She could have been halfway through.
The other funny thing was,
it's ridiculous.
The other funny thing was that when Sam went to drag then Lee down the corridor, he was on half a skateboard as well. And we were like, "Yeah, just drag him by one leg." Like, you know how Neal drags Cassie out of the room with one arm?
Yes.
Grabs her leg, goes, and we were like, "Just do it like that." And she grabbed one leg and she just went and fell flat on her face. And, we were like, and she was like, "Maybe, can I do it with two hands?" And we were like, "Let's give it a go, because it's not going to work."
It's because I was trying to pick up. I had one hand behind me, one hand trying to hold, I don't know what I had. So I just had no arms. I just fell right on my mouth. And I just ate the carpet. But
the thing is that thing works. That scene works, and that picture and that what you guys have used for the DVD showcase, the front runner of the film is ridiculous.
I remember Ben, like a lot of Ben's score.
If you guys don't care, we're going to use that picture for our episode.
Oh, wait, sure.
That's our favourite picture.
It's the most iconic thing about the film. Everyone's seeing it at the moment. hosts, and every time you search hosts, I search it on Google every day to try and work out where we are and what we're doing.
You know, you just like reading your name in the credits, right?
Well, it's like my private time is different to the film time.
Well, you know, it's like you said, you're talking about getting everyone in the picture, you know, trying to set it up. But like sometimes, like I always say, less is more. Yeah. So that's a perfect picture. It's perfect, and it's not a bunch of things. It's just it's
what it is. And if it sells the film as it is, and that is a key point, it is so good for the film.
But less is more, but not when it comes to terrifying Nadia. Then
the problem we have is
terrifying Nadia.
More is more. Oh, yeah.
The problem we have is that I think it's such a perfect picture, but we've had certain what's the word? Not locations. What's it called? Not I'm just being dunce now. It's like territories. Certain territories.
Yeah.
Do not like the blood on the face. So
yeah, take it off.
I've had to kind of
don't want to watch the film.
Photoshop the blood off a bit. I've had to Photoshop the blood off a bit for different territories. I'm like, it really kind of lessens it in my head. But
that's so weird because
you know what, Rich, I would love it if you just did the same poster but with a big plaster on the front.
You know, you mentioned different territories. Like over here, it's just, you know, in the U.S., it's talking about the Evil Dead remake. I mean, shit, it's nothing but blood.
But the Evil Dead remake is the only thing that's credible about the remakes that have happened in the last 10 years. Like that is the only remake I've ever actually enjoyed and gone, fuck, you've actually taken into consideration what the whole original film was about. Yeah. And have you seen the Friday the 13th remake? I'll get the fuck in the bin.
Hey, that has a it was so.
It's so bad that you want to burn it.
I went and watched this in theater, right, when it first came out.
You're knob for doing that. Why would you do that?
Hey, I have to watch. It's part of my job, kind of, so to speak.
You don't have to like it. That's fine.
But what was bad about it is that I'm sitting there watching this movie, right, and I'm with my wife and so. Were you? No, there's a couple of people with us, right? In front of us was about, I don't know, maybe 10, 12, and 13-year-old girls.
On their phone.
Right? Well, if you remember the movie, there's a damn sex scene in that movie that lasts about 10 and a half minutes.
Oh, of course. I plan my schedule around that.
I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I don't feel right even being in this movie with all these kids in front of me, and there's this sex scene, and there's like a 3-story group on the freaking screen. I'm like, I don't feel right doing this. Like, I can't even.
What was funny is last year we decided. So there was a Friday the 13th that popped up last summer, and there was a full moon that night. So we decided we were going to do a Facebook Live show on Friday the 13th and talk about, horror stuff and the movies and whatsoever. Well, we had the remake playing in the background, and there's a section in that video, if you go back and watch the video, where all of a sudden Ryan and I are just totally silent.
So when you're in the cinema with all these 13-year-olds in front of you, and you got this stuff on the screen.
On chapter 5 of Weinstein's.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you want to borrow my Weinstein biography?
Exactly. I looked over.
Chapter 5.
I looked over at my wife, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do right now. I'm like, I just want to leave.
That's the time you don't want to go for a toilet break, trust me.
It's
for sure.
It's not even horror, but my girlfriend.
Don't want to get caught in the bathroom during that.
Not even horror, but my girlfriend's son is a big fan of Borat because I showed him Borat. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I don't know.
I know Borat. Ali G. I know all the stuff he's done.
So back when that first film came out, and I had to say to my missus's son, "Have you ever seen Borat?" And he looks at me with discontent and goes, "Are you trying to be cool with me or what? Because you can't really on a bike further than 10 yards." And I'm like, "No, have you watched this?" And I show it him, and he's there going, oh my god, shit. So like, does Texas really not like get on with these kind of people in life and all this kind of stuff? And I'm trying to educate him really quickly about how this guy is a satirist and he's basically taking the mick. And then I sent him a thing earlier on today going, oh, Borat's got another finger, number 2, and he's like, no, and he's 13 and he can't get these kind of relationships between A, what England think of stuff, and B, what America thinks of stuff, and now it all amalgamates together. And we're like, I'm so glad he's not my son.
Oh, man.
No, because I didn't even get like that.
So moving back onto the film, what's next? We got the head drag scene. Where are we at next?
So
what do you want to talk about?
So the next thing that we're coming up on is the possession of Eric. When you guys go into the room and they force him to watch the TV, you know, this old, like a CRT TV or whatever.
TV, yeah.
That was a bargain, by the way. That
I bet it was. I bet it was.
He was like £3 an hour.
See, that'd be an antique over here. We'd probably pay freaking high price for that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it's like trying to find those types of TVs. We're rocking up into the 200s, but we didn't pay that for it. Yeah, it was a good price.
So like £70 or something, wasn't it?
I think it was 50.
50, yeah, super cheap.
Wow.
So the possession scene, yeah.
Yeah, so what I was getting at is the possession scene with him. He's forced to watch this video where the camera is moving up through this.
Well,
I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a rabbit hole.
There is an explanation that
Laughing at.
Sam's just cracked up, and I'm just watching
You really scared me with that noise.
So there's an explanation that maybe we shouldn't say just yet, Rich.
Okay.
Oh, that's
No,
No,
There is I can't remember if it was covered in the interview or not.
No, I think it's something we haven't quite said yet. I guess there are a few different meanings and layers to this film, but there's one. It'd be interesting to not say anything until someone maybe works it out.
I think there's a few things that we're in danger. I'm very much. I like to talk and I like to kind of explain everything that our thought process behind it. But I think sometimes some things are better left unsaid. Because it creates conversation. Like we listened to a podcast the other day and we didn't get on an interview with the guys. And I'm trying to book one for tomorrow actually with them because they absolutely adored the film and that was really awesome to hear. But they had these crazy theories. And I'm like, that's really interesting that they're coming up with these theories that we haven't even thought about. And we had another podcast and they were like, What's your theory on triangles? You've got a lot of triangles. In your film. Like, were those triangles intentional? They must be because there's a lot of films like Hereditary that deals with triangles, and you must be talking about triangles because you must have gone to like film school. And I'm like, motherfucker, we don't know nothing about triangles, man. Like,
or do we?
I think if we unveil the whole curtain, there's a lot of subtext in the film. I'm sure you've gathered. Like, some people don't like that. We had a review the other day that was like, none of this film makes any sense. It's just garbage. Like there's this happens, and then there's a picture, and then there's this, and it doesn't explain anything, and it's garbage. And it's like, okay, give it another watch. Like there's a lot of subtext in there that like is proper planned, and
that's
like
what happens when you turn your brain on.
yeah. But we like that. Like our favorite films are like Hereditary, Midsummer, and stuff. And there's so much subtext, and there's a lot of secondary meaning to it. Like if you break Midsummer down to its core, what it's about a broken relationship, but you don't get that as the face value at all. Like it's like, and that's the films we love. Do you know what I mean? Right. It's not about that. And Host isn't about a home invasion. That's not what it's about at its core. Like, that's the world that the theater is taking place in, but that's not the core meaning behind the film.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I gotcha. So I just want to know the picture above the bed.
Yeah.
Is that Michael?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's Abraham.
What?
Do what?
That's Abraham. You're
That's
American.
Abraham. Okay.
You're Bible thumping.
It's Missouri. It might not be like this.
Okay, so no, I was just kind of curious because there's a lot of subtle. I don't know.
But why do you say that? Why do you say this?
Well, I was just wondering
Abraham.
because of the father's name.
Michael.
You know.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
No, that's Abraham with his son on the altar. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because there is a little bit of religious imagery in here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lack of religion.
Yeah, fucking damn right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, see, this is something that kind of, opening up a bit. This is something that I guess me and Adam, like, maybe slightly battled on a little bit, but I was brought up in a Christian family. My dad's a preacher and that type of thing, and Adam's very much kind of the opposite. So
does he ever just look at you and shake his head?
I'm sure. I said to him, we got a film out coming out in America, and like we've got into 2 of the biggest film festivals in the world, and he's like, "That's amazing! Like, where can I buy this?" And I said, "You're not going to want to buy this." I said, "Just avoid it at all costs. You're not going to want this." But yeah, so like. We had a little bit of kind of discussion, and Adam's like, I'm not into the kind of the religious kind of references and stuff, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a lot of my background, and it's kind of like, not that it's like it's not a religious film, it's not trying to bash you or anything like that, but there's a lot of kind of I guess biblical history in there about the history of demons and where they come from, and
there's some connotation there.
Yeah, and I guess the duality of a lot of the story is being abandoned by your father, and I guess I was thinking, how would the demons feel if you kind of put them in a place where they were like us? Is they've been kicked out, they've been created by God and then kicked out and abandoned, and how would they feel in that situation? And how would they would want revenge on their father, which would be God,
right?
Froze up.
The duality of that with the abandoned by, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that duality, but in the same character. So Jack as the human was abandoned by his father, and Jack as the demon was abandoned by his father. And there's that duality, and it really comes across in what Lucy says in that tooth pulling scene. Kind of, it's that duality that works for both scenarios, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
What you said, like there, like for me, a lot of the time, and I'm sure this came up for you guys, like when people do things like that, you sort of think, who's the actual demon?
Yeah.
Right.
Massively.
Obviously, I'm, tormenting people.
Let me bash your head in with his hammer.
Because at the end of the day, you have to.
We know who the demons were in this movie.
You got a bit smashy, but
you still have to draw it back and look at the people that did those horrible acts in the film weren't horrible people in the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was nothing to do with Lucy as a person, nothing to do with Jack as a person.
Yeah.
Like if you go back, we were loving each other and buying Christmas presents and being happy as shit before shit hit the fan.
And that's why
we are still people that ended up
they become horrible monsters later on. You still feel empathy for them.
Exactly. We were there at the beginning, being fucking lovely. Like you can never take that away. And like Rich and Adam massively touch on every time they talk about it, is they're not bad people there. They became something that was out of their control.
Yeah.
And there's elements where you see Lucy as Lucy pleading with shit, I'm not part of no, that's not me. You don't see it with Jack so much, but there's every single scene we're in, there's an element underneath of we're trying to push through to go, well, shit, we don't want to be doing this. We have no control.
But I guess what we said before is that the theme of the film is essentially like the failure of parenting.
Yep.
And that's evident in the characters, and this is what I found so amazing. And there was lots of stuff in what Adam wrote in the script, and I like
massively.
He went away and wrote the script and came back, and I was kind of reading it and going, "This really works. It's really cool." But then the more I read it and the more we, like, even after we filmed it, I've gone, wow, like, what you put in there, the depth of these characters, of what it means is incredible. Like, Eric, he's a bit of a wet fart, and he's just so needy. he's so needy and just wants his father's attention all the time. And that's because his father feels so much guilt about the son he abandoned that he's actually abandoning his second son in the process of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just this failure of fatherhood on all levels. And that's kind of the core of what Host is about.
I gotcha. Have you guys lost me? Oh, no, I'm still.
Oh, no. It's just gone quiet. Like
we had a little glitch on our screen. And, but yeah. So you guys want to talk about the wood scene? We kind of talked about that before, but the aspect of Nadia or Lauren being out there by herself, and then apparently the camera guy showing up there beside her to torment her.
Oh yeah. Shorty.
Yeah. We were just like on the day, and we were going to get the sound guy again, and he was like, "Nah, nope. I'm done getting naked." Like, and then we were like, "Sean, can you step up to the plate? We're kind of running out of crew here to chuck in the film." And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm down for it." And then he smashed it. I think he's got such a good look and such an evil grin.
He does. The way he was crouched down and his movements and mannerisms and stuff. Yeah, very creepy. Very creepy scene.
I was trying to look after him with this because it was freezing that night with this big duvet, and like I'm half his height, so I'm just trying to sort of cover him as soon as he comes off set, and he's like, "Did I look Lucy enough?" And I was like, "What?" It was like, "Well, I'm trying to be
Lucy enough."
And I was like, "Oh, I think it's the best compliment anyone could have given me."
He was really self-conscious about just looking bad, and it was like, "Man, you look ace." Like, it's
he looked wicked. He smashed it, didn't he?
Yeah. And I like how you guys did the following scene where, you know, the father goes into Lauren's bedroom and she's not there. So he throws open the curtain, and then that's when we see the others out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with the same eye and the just creepy. And I think at that moment, that's when the father finally starts to put two and two together and see, you know, what's going on.
I liked how you guys did the eyes too. I really liked how you did, because it wasn't.
It's rich.
It was subtle.
Yeah.
It was subtle.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I liked it because sometimes you see people do stuff and the eyes just look too. I mean, you know, they'll put some contacts in and it just looks too, I don't know, overdone.
Yeah.
That looked really good. It was like really, really spot on and subtle, but you noticed it, and I liked it.
Well, one thing we just sort of decided was kind of creative side of things was when we've seen, I mean, it's not an original idea having blue glowing eyes at all, but one thing we wanted to do, and it's not something we've seen in a lot of films, was they'd do like the iris, the bit that normally has color, they'd make that glow, and we were like, that's not doesn't represent what we wanted to do. Was show the light coming from inside. So we wanted the bit that's the hole to glow like there's a light inside them glowing out, if you know what I mean. So that was like the very pupil glowing, and that was, I guess, different to other films that I've seen.
Where a lot of times they'll black out the iris or whatever, you know. And I guess that explains a lot with the light coming out of the mouth, and you know,
it's meant to be like light emanating from inside because it's that the light. I mean, going back to the biblical references, you know, it says that demons come as angels of light, so that's kind of a lot where that thing came from Adam's original idea of seeing this light, and his ex-girlfriend saying she saw a light in the garden. Like, well, what could that be? And then the idea of like taking that to that next thing of it possessing someone and it representing demons coming as lights, and so the light's inside them and it's kind of emanating out of the holes in them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and then you know, of course, we're getting towards the end here, and the killing of the father.
One of the most, to be honest, I don't know what's more unsettling in terms of murders, that or the dinner scene. I think it's so horrible.
They're so close.
I really wanted to. I actually watched real videos to know what kind of sounds one makes, and because I needed it to be as real as possible. So I've seen how you see stuff over the years, your friend.
Yeah.
And I did some research and and I was telling Frank, you need to sound guttural. It needs to sound uncontrolled, and I think he did it perfectly. There's a few of those that
absolutely.
It's so horrible and unsettling.
And the way Neal was slashing at him, it wasn't just a jab; it was a slice, and
The thing with this was, and I'm sure you don't mind me saying this, is I spoke with Adam and Rich about that whole scene. For me, is Jack's thing within the film. The way he kills his fuck. We're spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, fucking gone now.
Yeah, because
the way he kills it is that I couldn't do it in a traditional way of horror films of.
Yeah. Got it.
There's no way I could do that. And the way I work is everything needs to be real and everything needs to be honest. And what I drew from that is I spoke to Adam because Rich a lot of the time is so in with the cinematography side and the whatever. I spoke with Adam so many times of when I was at school growing up doing what I did, there was a kid that went to prison for killing someone's grandfather, for robbing him and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, cool. And then he gets out of prison because he went into prison when he was underage and then came out of prison. And the reason he went back to prison was because he stabbed someone 36 times in the stomach.
Wow.
And I go, cool. Okay, I know this guy. I know this kid. I know him. I spoke with him. Nothing bad to the eye to talk with this guy, but he stabbed someone 36 times in the stomach, and this kid's on permanent dialysis or whatever for his life. And I have to question as an actor, going, I get why someone would stab someone or shoot someone,
right?
But I don't get why someone would stab someone 36 fucking times.
Right. Yeah, it's gotta
shit
be
me, man.
Rage.
Yeah, there's a lot of rage.
So I have to then draw upon the iconic that you see from Halloween and all the other films.
Right.
But I want this as much as that dinner scene is so visceral and whatever. And you've seen that scene with the father, that the camera doesn't cut away too much.
Yeah.
Right.
You see a shitload of what goes on, and I'm thinking that has to be unhumanistic and unhuman, because if you show someone humanly stabbing someone, it takes a lot of courage and front to stab someone. It's like guns for show, knives for a pro. It's like, that's a metal song. You can't stab someone once and feel like great. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's taken a lot of courage, but to do that, like you're doing the thing in Alien with the fucking but you're doing that on someone's chest and face whilst you're looking at them, that's disturbing. And a cool fact for you now is that knife, and I have to say this because it's just genius, and it's just, I put that 12-inch knife in my leg and me and Adam had to go to A&E.
Oh
my God.
Shit.
So that whole scene there was end of the evening, last scene to be shot, blah, blah, blah. We're doing this. So
that's 6 a.m. by that point, wasn't it?
6 a.m. by that point. And we had 12-inch knife in the hand, and we had fake torso. Bang, 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 bang. But we also had foam knife. No knife, just the handle, with real Frank Jakeman going, terrible joke after terrible joke. Bang, 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 bang. And we're smashing the fake knife into his chest, and it looks great. But the other angle with the real knife, I'm just going, right, as creative as I was trying to be with it, bang, 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 12-inch knife in the thigh, straight in the thigh. And the words that come out, and forgive everyone around me, fuck, it's in my leg, fuck, it's in my leg. Rich is there with the camera and the the camera and whatever, just looking, going, yeah, we're going to have to do that again. I'm like, fuck, it's in my leg, and fuck. And I'm standing up going, dude, I can't do this again. And he's like, why? What's going on? And then I'm like, dude, and I stand up and I've had to pull the knife out of my leg because I've just completely fucking mistimed what I'm trying to do so creatively to make sure it doesn't look just tacky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then, boom. Ah! You know Ace Ventura when he throws him the thing, it's like, ah! 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 I put the knife
Ventura shit there.
Straight in the leg, and I'm going, fuck. And then it's pissing down my leg, and I can feel the cold blood, and I'm thinking I'm dying. I'm thinking it's like, oh, shit. And I get taken to another room, and the room we're in now, actually, and sat on a chair. And I'm sat there with this, like, I pulled a 12-inch knife out of my leg, and I'm thinking I'm going to die, man. I'm like, I've hit an artery. I've hit an artery, man. Oh, my God. I've hit an artery. The next thing is Adam, bless his little face. Look at that face there just coming in. Imagine that guy, the best guy in the world, just comes in and sort of kneels down in front of you like he's going to propose, like, dude, I fucking love you, man. You're right. And I'm like,
he's holding his hand at this point.
Holding my hand, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cool, man. It's fine. I'm sorry. I'm ready to carry on, man. Just set the lights again. It's fine. Because Rich was like, I can't probably need that again because I didn't get what I needed.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough, I'll be honest. It needed another one.
Tears coming down my face, and this the man of the hour, Adam, just holding my hand, going, it's okay, dude, man. I love you, man. I'm like, yeah. And then the producer came in and poured some kind of cocaine on it, and it was like some antiseptic powder.
Cocaine, just for the record. It was not
obviously.
Hey, whatever. It's all good.
I'm sat there going, don't waste it on my knee.
And that was the end of the film.
Yeah.
But he took me to hospital, and I had one stitch in my leg. One fucking stitch.
He did get some ripping for having one stitch. And
one stitch more, that I'm known as.
I thought he was dying, but he only needed one stitch.
One stitch more.
I'm sorry.
Me and Adam are there in the hospital just making up bullshit about why there's a gash in my leg. Yeah, I did some trick with my knife, tried to show off in front of friends, and it went wrong. And then he's like, yeah. Oh, it was the most surreal experience. But again, 100% my fault, man. I tried to do something that didn't look anything different in any kind of historical film. And but it's still there, man. You wouldn't even known that if I'd have said it. And that was Adam's.
And that fucking scene is phenomenal. I mean, you guys fucking nailed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then you just got into it. That just shows how much you were in that moment. And then
you were into it enough to stab yourself in the leg.
No, but this is the point. These guys put it out there what they need to do, and I surely speak for the whole of the cast, like Nadia, Sam, whatever these guys need. I mean, previously, these guys did a trailer for their other script, and they were like, oh, there's this really cool lake that's got, like, really, like, dead wood and everything everywhere. Like, Neal, do you mind just walking out into the middle of the lake, like, wading out while we film it in slow motion? And while there's this big, like, black hole in the sky. And I'm like, yeah, of course I'll do that for you. 1 foot into this lake, which was stagnant as anything you'll ever think. I put my foot in it, went, boom. I lost my shoe, lost my foot, and I waded to the middle of this thing for these guys.
It stank. As soon as he broke the tension on the water, that was just toilet water.
But I did everything.
It smelled so bad.
And I will still to this day do anything that A, Adam ever tells me to do, and B, Rich ever tells me to do.
Can you leave, please?
And thank you.
He's like, leave, damn it.
I trust these guys wholeheartedly. This is something you don't get in cinema. Is when actors sometimes don't wholeheartedly trust the directors they're working with.
And you learn your lesson.
Anything Adam tells me to do, like I'll say it again. Adam is already an idol of mine in what he's already done, in what he does. And when these two come together with Rich as a cinematographer, what I was idolized his work. Anything they could tell me to do, I would do anything. And you don't get that a lot when you can trust someone so much to do what you don't even care if it's bad for you.
And the roles that they've given both of us have been like
fantastically incredible.
And I mean, I've said before, and I'll say it again, that it's very rare to have to be a female in a film where you are a co-lead and you're not considered a bitch and you're not considered bossy, but you are just as powerful as the men. And it's kind of, you know what I mean?
It's not about the men and the women here, and I get what you're saying there.
Yeah, it's very rare.
It's about fucking time that someone actually paid attention to that men and women are as equal as each other.
Or maybe we're just better than you.
You might be, like, yeah. But I'm the leprechaun. I'm the leprechaun. That's when the fourth can of Foster's kicks in.
Just trying to break some of this gayness going on.
We don't tip
Where's Garth at?
Garth. Yeah.
We don't want to ruin.
That's my Garth down there in the hat.
So we don't want to ruin the end of the movie, so we're not going to talk too much about that.
No.
We've just ruined the rest of the film.
We just stepped on the rest of it, though. But I do have a question, though. In your guys' minds, what is going to make your film stand out over other horror films that are coming out right now?
That scene.
That scene. Any of them.
Or it's not Host.
I think what Rick touched on earlier is that I think we've managed to find a balance between having a story and having gore, and it's not one extreme of the other. It's somewhere in between, and it's something that I feel like you can really appreciate, but at the same time, you can really be entertained by it as well, and you can really feel. I don't know, like it's a dramatic thriller told on the platform of supernatural horror. You know, it's not just a typical horror film. And yes, there are scenes in it, particularly the scene, the dinner scene that everyone's talking about, and that's what got the industry talking before we signed a deal with the wonderful Dark Sky Films. So I
think it's that, and I think the thing that's different about this film is it's super gory. Like, as far as I'm aware, and the way people are reacting is it's up there with the best of them as far as the gore. But it's not about that, which is what most gore films that are to that extreme are about. That's what the whole film is. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Come and watch this gore. But that's not kind of what Host is about. We've not advertised the trailer. You notice has got nothing about gore. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not the advertisement. That's not what the point of the film is. But it's there to just go, baff, and take you by surprise. And then it's back to normal. Like, we spoke to someone on a podcast the other day, and they were saying there's only really 2 gory scenes in the film. It's not like that's what the film is about, and that's what the entirety is about, is that torture porn. It's not of that. You've got these pivotal moments that are built up for a long time to get to, and then there's the payoff. And I think that's what I haven't seen before. Not to kind of say our film's really original. It might not be at all, and people hate it. But I think that's what I personally haven't seen before, is that level of gore that's... maybe Midsummer kind of has that kind of vibe where you have extreme gore, but it's not all the time. It's just...
It's not all about...
That's sparse.
We had that feedback with the film of the first 20 minutes of Hosts. Sets you up thinking it's going to be something different. No one speaks. You just watch this and you think it's going to be this dread film that's going to do this and do that. And it really doesn't. And then it gets into a next element of what goes on, which is the relationship between the 2 main characters, as you would call main characters. And then it goes and takes you to the other characters in the film, which become the main characters of the film, and you follow that. So we've had people going, it does this and does that. And I'm so confused by it does this and does that. And they dwell upon how it's so different. But that's not a problem to me when I read the script, and not a problem to you guys when you were directing it. It's because you have to have an element of ultra-realism for you to associate what is going on with how you will feel about it.
Yeah.
Like you guys feel something about what happens in that scene, the dinner scene, and everything else. It's because you care about the characters. And if me and Sam weren't there being so normal and natural down to life, we've all got friends that annoy the shit out of you when they're talking because they're just so annoyingly nice, and you go, cool, fine. But that is life, man. And these two characters have something put upon them that they didn't ask for, man. They really didn't ask for it. Like, we were happy in our little bubble of exchanging presents and being wonderful with each other. And then something took us by surprise and forced us upon someone else that weren't expecting it. And there's never any... You never see in the film the Hendersons hating these two for coming around for dinner. You never see that. And in life, there's always blame. There's always, they came around and fuck shit up. There's no blame in this film. There's so much innocence played out through disgustingness.
Nihilism, pure nihilism.
He's purely up there with that. And that's down to the writing, the way that Rich and Adam decided to shoot certain scenes, the way that they played out, the fact that it's 30-something odd minutes before something happens in the fucking horror world. Oh, nothing happens till this point. No. Everything happens in that point until you get to the point where you give a shit.
You guys have built up so much tension to that point.
Yeah,
and, I got to say, you guys did an awesome job with it. And like I said, evidently, you guys did something right because everyone's talking about it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a huge horror fan, and I'm a movie fan, period, but I'm a huge horror fan, and I'm going to tell you that, the suspense of it, especially that one scene, and even the stabs, the scene where you kill the father, that whole build, like I said, I was literally rocking with her in my chair. I was like, and then I was just, that's something that, as far as we are concerned as horror fans, we love that stuff because that means you're putting me in your mindset right there.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I'm feeling what you're feeling. I'm like, okay, I'm building that up in myself, and then bam, it hits, and it's awesome.
This is one thing we've heard a lot of.
So really glad. No, really glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
This is one thing we've heard a lot of, and I'm not kind of naming names and stuff, but we've had big platforms kind of watch it and go, you need to follow the algorithm, and you need to have a death at
you need to
at 10 minutes 32 seconds needs to be the first death because the algorithm shows that and this and I'm like, but what we found is that horror fans, core horror fans, respond really, really well to it. And this is where we love Dark Sky, because they've had our back with that, because they are true horror fans. Yeah. And they've been not arguing our case, but kind of going, this is to the algorithm going, kind of sod the algorithm, listen to the fans. An algorithm can only tell you what's already out there.
Exactly.
Does that make sense? An algorithm is based on what is already out there.
And the algorithm is based on what everyone is wanting to not see.
You can't come up with an original idea using an algorithm based on what's already out there. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You got to be you. Like I said, be true to you. We're just like with our little podcast that we have and what we're trying to build, we're true to ourselves.
Quit saying it's little.
I've been hearing it my whole life.
We could make $10 million rather than $5 million if you'd have done that differently. Fuck you, man.
But that's something that's very much us and our team is we're super, super true to what we want to do. And if people like it, that's awesome. And we've had so much great feedback and overwhelming. So I think so far we've had quite a few reviews out and podcasts and stuff, and we've only had one review come back and go, I really hated this. Do you know what I mean? And that's amazing. Like I was expecting a lot of hate because we stuck to our guns and we made a film for us. We didn't make a film for the algorithm. We didn't make a film for, and this is the problem. I've not to speak out of turn, but I've worked or seen other people, and when they're talking about making a film, they're like, I think we're going to do this idea because that sells, and we need to have these boxes ticked to sell in that country, and we need to make sure that we've got this because of that, and that's going to make that sell here. And it's like, what?
No.
Like, are you creative at all? Like, just make the film that you want to make. Make the film that you love. Like me and Adam just absolutely abhor that stuff of just ticking boxes and following algorithms. Like, that's just so unhuman.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Algorithms, like the films that algorithms are based on, those films were not made based on algorithms. So then it's okay, then every time any film gets made, the algorithm should change. So
no, you guys are doing it right, because evidently, you guys, like you said, you've had plenty of
like it.
A great feedback. So I just want to say that I thank you guys for giving us your time and stuff. I mean, I know it's late over there, so
thank you for giving us your time.
We enjoy a good combo, man.
Well, I can tell you, I was going to say, if you guys ever have anything else that you're putting out, give us a shout, and
we will be in touch.
Definitely. If you guys ever just want to come on the show and just bullshit.
Fuck it, man.
We'd love to have you guys on.
Yeah, I specialize in waffling bullshit. So
waffle and bullshit seem to go hand in hand, I've heard.
I'm glad I actually got to get on this conversation. I was pretty pissed because, it's been an issue with my bosses.
I'll tell your boss to go suck a fuck, man.
I'd love to have you in. Like,
I'm trying to do my own thing here, just like you guys have built up yourselves. We're trying.
Just walk back into work and go, do you know who the fuck we were talking to last night? I had Adam Leader and fucking Richard Oakes and Samantha Loxley. And
so fuck
fucking
off.
Podcast about your business. Fuck you.
But man, you guys are awesome. Appreciate your time for real.
You guys have been amazing. Thank you.
Really, thank you so much for spending all this time with us. Can we
do you know what? It is a pleasure, man.
Yeah, what's that?
Thank you for not
do a little stinger for us and say thanks for watching the Horror Chronicles podcast and keep it creepy.
Do you know what you need to do, though, before he does that, is you need to, at the start of this podcast, you forgot Adam off it. So Adam needs to introduce himself so you can edit that in.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't have my boy being left out.
Yeah, because he wasn't here whenever we first started.
No, Adam was on it. We went through Rich, me, and Sam, and you left Adam out. I'm not having him left out.
Are you kidding me?
I promise
Adam,
you, my
I'm sorry.
brother.
I didn't know that I left you out there.
No, it's not a problem, but I need it
no
to
wonder
be
he's been shaking his head.
I wasn't going to say it.
He's a douche.
Yeah, sorry.
He is nowhere near a douche.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
We'll get you in there.
Do it, Adam. You go. I'm Adam Leader. I'm the director of host. Boom.
No, because no one else said that. I think you just said, "Oh, hey, we got Rich."
Trust me, guys. We are going to put you out there.
Shit.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. But Neal, that's really sweet of you to know.
Adam, you do the stinger at the end, man.
Yeah. Do it. Synopsize.
Do it.
Oh, just do us a favor. Just say what do you want him to say?
Thanks for checking out the Horror Chronicles podcast and keep it creepy.
This is Adam Leader, one of the directors of Hosts. Thanks for checking out the Horror Chronicles podcast. Keep it creepy.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hey, man, you guys are awesome.
If you guys ever want to do anything else, man, just give us a call.
Much love from the U.S. We love you guys, man. It was great.
Love to Missouri, man. Fucking love it.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Take care.
These measures are